Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I will be your friendly lore master tonight, because today, we were going to have tonight one of our regular scheduled sessions of Night Below, but unfortunately we've had people pulled in a bunch of different directions, so we are down to a lone 2 players, and Arlen had suggested that we go back to a game that I had just run last weekend, actually, for the first time. It is J.M. DeFogey's Jackals Bronze Age Fantasy. It's going to be backwards on my screen because I'm still a dumbass. And
it's over here, so if anybody wants to see.
Exactly. I wanted to show the physical, because I do really love the digest size, and I absolutely love how the binding is so great on it because it lays flat. Tonight we're going to be returning to the Bronze Age fantasy world of Jackals. On top of requesting the game, Arlen has also gone above and beyond and has put together some Roll20 sheets for us to use too. So if you watched, those of you who are listening at home, if you watched one of our previous character creation sessions, we did not have character sheets then, but Arlen has put together this terrific character sheet for us, so this will hopefully make things a little easier and also make it easier to play. I've also had a chance to load some assets in to Roll20 as well, including some handouts. Yeah, so let me first introduce you to the players for tonight, and then we'll talk about what Jackals is and what we're going to do tonight. So first up, let me introduce you to Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I know absolutely nothing about Jackals. So.
Nice. And next up is Arlen.
I am Arlen. I know enough to find where the character sheet is in the book and use that as guidance for what the Roll20 sheet needed. I know very little else than about Jackals.
So let's talk about what Jackals is then. So Jackals is it's built as a Bronze Age fantasy game. It is not set in, it's not a historical game. It is definitely a fantasy game, but the 4 cultures that are featured in the core rulebook are definitely based on historical, the historical analogs. The game itself is set in a region called the Zaharets, and I'll show you this is the Land of Risings. So this is the map out of the book, or one of the maps out of the book. The Zaharets are located right here, and this is largely where your adventure starts. The 4 different, I guess one other thing is that about 3 generations ago, there is a culture here that comes originally from the Zaharets, called the Luwathi, and the Luwathi are really based on like the Semitic tribes. So they've worshipped one god. They were an oppressed people, and they're sort of reclaiming their land. There was a inhuman empire called Barak Barad that was ruled by this kind of like demonic or chaotic species called the Tahan. And the Tahan come in, Takan, not Tahan, Takan. The Takan come in a bunch of different varieties, but this gives me an opportunity to actually show you some of the cool art from the book here. These things can be, the Ori Takan, which are my favorite. And I'll give you guys 2 guesses as to why they're my favorite. The Oritakan, there are let's see here, the Mavakan, which are sort of the frontline troops for Barak Barad and the Takani. There they are too, these horrific gorilla creatures. And I'll show you one more, because I think I've only got one more loaded here. But they're, here we go, the Gadakan. I like these guys too. And one of the neat things with the Takan, like from a meta game kind of perspective, is they have sort of analogs. Look at those guys, eh?
Yikes.
Yeah. The Gadakan are kind of like trolls. They got regeneration. They're big. They're they're kind of stupid, and each of the different Takan had a different kind of role that they played in the Barak Barad Empire. But they were defeated thanks to this faith. The discovery of this faith has brought the Loathi back, and they've cast them down, and they've gone, have retreated into the Zaharets. So even though there are 3 generations worth of people since they have cast off their shackles, in the time when Barak Barad was in existence, it forced the Loathi to forget their traditions, to forget many of their secrets that they knew. Like their almost entire culture was eradicated. So the Zaharets is also a land that the people are kind of rediscovering things. And though Barak Barad has been driven back or defeated, the Takan still lurk in the Zaharets. One of the other cultures is the Trauj, which are the wild desert folk who live in many of the sands or the kind of desert regions. The Trauj are also ancient enemies of the Takan. Each of the different cultures, the 4 cultures, has 2 different magical traditions, and the Trauj 2 traditions, one of them is about lore and secrets, one of them is basically a berserker and is an adversary of the Takan and other creatures of chaos. Another of the cultures is the Gerwa, who are from Ger. And Ger is very much based on classical Egypt. They're not called pharaohs, they're called, oh gosh, there's a name for it. The Kiani. The Kiani are the noble line of kings that descend from the gods, and they have a very, very complex religious structure. They worship but they have very formalized kinds of magic. That one of their traditions deals with summoning and dealing with spirits and interacting with those things. So the Ger are very tradition-oriented. And then the final one is the Melkoni. And the Melkoni are kind of like the equivalent of classical Greece. They have set up basically a colony right around here. For some reason, it's not on here, and I don't know why. It's on the closer map. The city-state is called Krorila, and they have basically they've got like a adventurous kind of. It's a bit of a like a philosophical warrior. It's if you melded kind of like the archetype of Athens with the archetype of Sparta and had this like philosophical warrior kind of tradition. That's what their kind of magical traditions are largely drawing on. The region, like the whole world you're playing in, there's a name for it that I can't remember right now, but the setting itself, because each of these cultures has, like in the Bronze Age, people, the individual and the outsider is really not the ideal. These, for any activity, be it agriculture, be it war, be it construction, anything like that, it requires massive efforts by lots of people together. So you have societies that sort of feed into everyone doing what's best for the collective community. Your characters are not part of that, and they call such characters jackals. You are the people on the outside of the fire. You are the people who are, you have necessary roles, particularly in a troubled time like this. And the region all the way along the coast here from Amina Noani down to Sentem is known as the War Road. So jackals are thought of as walking the war road. And as we create your characters, what we're going to learn about is why you took up the war road, why you became a jackal, what would make you settle down again, and that kind of stuff. The game is a percentile-based system, very much like Call of Cthulhu or RuneQuest, or, I'm trying to think of the other ones we've played that have percentile. I think that's probably it. Delta Green, Clockwork and Chivalry. But one of the things that this does is there are certain rules that we're going to find as we make characters and as we start playing that make this a much more heroic experience. And I feel that it is a little more, well, not a little more, it is a lot more easy to like casual user friendly than what Glorantha is, because I've seen it compared to Glorantha in a lot of different ways. It is definitely a swords and sorcery kind of thing. Your characters are badasses, and as you go along and become more powerful, as you know your character advances in power and in notoriety, you gain something called, I think it's Cleon. Where is it here? I think I got that name. There's a fair amount of jargon here, not as much as there is in, you know, like a Monty Cook game, but there is an awful lot of specific nomenclature. Where is it here? It is... but basically, the reason I bring it up is because in addition to your character advancing organically, where, you know, as you're adventuring and traveling along and whatnot, your characters are going to see as you use skills, you get a chance to increase them, just like it was in Pendragon. And you also will have directed advancements where you get to make specific advancements to specific skills. As you go along and as you adventure, you also gain more Kleos. You gain more notoriety. And there are things that come with that. Some people will want to help you, want to become your patron. Some people will find, the Agents of Chaos in particular, will find about you and want to do terrible things to you. So the game is really about outsiders being, you know, really being the kind of the heroes that the other members of the society generally cannot, in a very turbulent time where the whole region is really being rediscovered, and threats that were defeated, you know, 100 years ago may still be planning to have a resurgence. So that's the game. That's what we're going to be playing. Let me bring us back to the first screen here. So creating characters in this game is relatively easy. Because you get to have your hand on the rudder for every aspect of it. So if you guys are in the PDF, I'm going to be starting on the summary of what character creation is on page 35 of the book. I don't know what page that is in the PDF. I think it depends on what version you've got. So the first thing you guys got to choose is what concept. Like, what kind of character do you want to play here? Do you want to play a clever rogue? Do you want to play a powerful warrior? Do you want to play a learned scholar or sorcerer or ritualist, as the game calls it? Do you want to play someone who is a crafty merchant, just trying to make his way, you know, make his way in the wilder parts of the war road? What are you guys thinking? Do you have kind of an archetype in mind you'd be interested in playing? Either you can speak first, or if that might help the other.
I don't necessarily have a concept yet.
So one of the things do you want to play a brutish Melkoni warrior, a lithe Garwa priest? The reason the concept is important is because it helps you inform all the other decisions, and because we're making characters together, that way you guys can also sort of plan for not overlapping. We don't have everyone with, you know...
right.
Yeah. It's one of my games, so, you know, survival is probably going to be important, but you don't have to have everyone, you know, good at that.
So I was just sort of looking through some of the stuff and was thinking it might be interesting because it's a sort of skill-based system. It seems like you less dependent on your attributes after kind of character creation, right?
Yeah, your attributes some of your attributes inform other elements, and it's usually a combination of the two attributes that will determine things like your metal, your clash points, your wounds.
Well, but I was thinking it seems like it could be interesting in a skill-based system. You could have more of like a sort of smart fighter type character that you wouldn't get as often.
Most definitely.
A sort of like more D&D-esque system where you would put your points into strength and dump intelligence if you're a fighter, right? Yeah. So I was thinking something like that, being like a lore seeker character who's kind of after, not necessarily like a caster, but just really interested in, like, you know.
So one of the ones
history and all that.
The Luwathi are definitely of the four cultures in the setting. The Luwathi are the ones who are the most self-interested in recovering that lore. You know, the Gerwa are interested in sort of an academic, curious kind of way. The Trauj, actually, you know, any one of them you could fit that kind of concept as well too. So, Jeff, does that help with the idea of Arlen's character being a warrior in search of knowledge? Does that help you with thinking what kind of character?
Yeah, I think so. So the concept I'm sort of rounding out is what are the bad monsters called? The Takan?
The Khan, yep.
Yeah, the Khan. Maybe someone who is a little again, so maybe similar concept in that he's after the knowledge of the Takan and how to stop them. So, but someone maybe who's a little older and a little wiser and a little more maybe tried to fit in for a long time, and it took him a while before he fell out as a jackal. Like he just couldn't ever, he tried carpentry, couldn't work with wood. He tried fishing, couldn't catch anything. Like he's failed out of a lot of things and sort of fallen into being a jackal. And so now he's
of the four cultures that we talked about, the Lowathi, the Gerwa, the Melkoni, and the Trauj. Which of those kind of appeals to you guys? And I say each of the different cultures has like super fucking cool stuff about them.
Right. Yeah. So I was kind of thinking the Lowathi seems like that would be a cool people to play.
Okay. And Jeff, what are you thinking?
That's the first one?
Yeah, so you can actually find little blurbs about them so the Lowathi are on page 17. Well, that's the short story about it, and then there's like an overview and the virtues that they talk about. There's a bunch of neat mechanical tweaks they have in the game as well too that make it more than just that basically seem like story game elements that they've stolen and kind of incorporated into the D100 game. Yeah, Lowathi the first, the Gerwa. The Lowathi are the kind of the Semitic, inspired character or culture. Gerwa are the like classical pharaonic Egypt inspired culture. The Melkoni are the classical Greek city-state inspired, and the Trauj are the kind of Bedouin or desert folk.
Yeah, so let's go with the Gerwa.
The Gerwa, okay, cool.
Gerwa.
All right, so then you guys can take a quick look, if you'd like, on page the virtues of the things that the culture values for the Lowathi are on page 19, and the things that the Gerwa value are on page 23. And I will say as well too, I generally hate game fiction, even if it's good. It's an annoyance that I don't want to have to read. I actually read the game fiction in this game, and I really enjoyed it. It really did help get a sense of what the different cultures value, and it gives you a perspective of they're not quite like the iconic characters that are in like D&D 3rd and Pathfinder, but it gives you a sense of what one clear character from that. And actually, I mean, these same characters keep appearing throughout the art in the book too, so I guess they are iconic characters. But what you can do, guys, is so all of your skills are currently going to be at let's see here. I did put together this little skill selection. So if you guys want to take maybe one moment just to fill out what your starting skills are, just the numbers. First, there's the handout. You'll then add your cultural modifiers to those stats or to the skills. And I think Arnold's got them all in the same order, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I just did the order from the character sheet. So
yeah, I think they've been
hopefully there.
One thing I'll say, we've mentioned this in the last time we played this too, but like the editors or the folks responsible for the design layout in the game, this and all the other Osprey games have been really, really good. Let's see here. Oh yeah, great. Okay. So if you just copy the starting numbers down, then we can jump into what you guys are going to be getting as your skill bonuses from your culture. And the reason that's important is because you can't, at one stage of the game, you can't start with any more than 75% of your on your one of your skills, and you need to that includes your cultural bonus. And while you guys are filling that in as well, I'll tell you about what your virtue can be done. So what the virtue is it's a kind of narrow meta, what do you call it? Meta narrative tool. Once per session, you guys can call on that to turn a failure into a success, or turn a success into a critical success, as long as it fits within the context of which virtue you choose.
Okay.
Your magical skills all start at... you can just keep them as 0 for now. Unless either of you guys...
I see. So just add, like, so it's a skill bonus. Deception plus 5%. Range combat plus 5%. That's what we're adding right now?
Yes, you can add that in and just... and then have everything else at your starting point right now. Whatever the starting number is there. Like Deception's at 15. Stealth's at 20. Thievery's at 10.
What? Where do you get those from?
From the handout. Right here.
Oh, skill selection.
Yep.
This one?
Yep.
Yeah, all the skills have a base starting level. Except magic skills have a weird one.
I got it. So do that. Put those in with the addition of
yes,
the
please.
Bonus for your, I got it.
And then what we'll do is we'll select, once you guys have done that, you guys can tell us which of the 3 cultural virtues that you want to select. The Lowathi have Bonds of Family, Fires of Freedom, and Seeker of Knowledge. I have a feeling which one you're going to take, based on what you said about your character. And for the Gerwa, it's an Iron-like Will, a Follower of the 6 and the 8, and Servant of a Rigid Order. Okay. All right. So we had Mo made a Gerwa character last time, but we haven't had anyone play a Lowathi yet. That's pretty cool. Okay. So have you completed adding your skills here, Arlen?
Yeah, I've got my skills.
So what do you think for the virtue?
I am going to be a seeker of knowledge.
Nice. So that one reads, the Lowathi Jackal is obsessed with recovering lost history and shoring up their knowledge of the world. They may call upon this virtue to find and decipher ancient knowledge, or to apply their knowledge to the check at hand. Your languages that you start with will be Howls and Lowathi. Howls is the kind of like trade tongue in the region. And as a Lowathi, what you get? Plus 5% melee combat, plus 5% healing, plus 10% survival, plus 10% willpower. Pretty good. And Jeffrey, how goes your skill entry?
Just about done. I
Nice.
screwed something up, so...
Okay. Next thing we'll decide is... so, Arlen, I guess you're pretty much ready to make that decision. Are you playing a ritualist or not?
I don't think so. I think my character is interested in lore, but not in actual, like, casting.
Okay. Yep. Now, one of the things I'll say about the ritualist, because I think you may have known this already, Arlen, but Jeff, each of the traditions has... or each of the cultures has 2 different ritualist traditions, and each of the ritualists has 4 rites. And those are basically the spells that you start with. You start with each of them, and they count as skills. So what they do is to be a ritualist, you end up putting some of your attribute points towards another stat called devotion, and then that helps... it sort of... it draws some of your skill points away from what you would otherwise start with for common skills, and it draws some of your attribute points away. But it's neat because each of the different traditions has a completely different slate of rights that they can use. Okay, so your skills together now, Jeff?
Yep.
So then what you get to pick is one of those 3 virtues found on page 37. That'll be an iron-like will, a follower of the 6 and the 8, and servant of a rigid order. This is the thing that allows you to convert, once per session, you can convert a fail to a success or a success to a crit success. Which do you think fits best with your character?
Yeah, I'm just reading what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's just more like how you go about accomplishing that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a way of like all of them do the exact same thing. It's just a way of how your character is emblematic of the culture that they come from.
Well, I don't think that he's doggedly determined if he sort of failed out of all these attempts to fit into culture. It's not iron-like will.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
What about the gods? Does he call on the gods?
Yeah, maybe. Because I mean, if it's the follower of the 6 and the 8, I'm assuming that there's 14 different gods.
So, and it's interesting because the 6 are like the gods in the Gerwa tradition. The 6 are the ones who created the universe, but you don't talk about them, and you try not to get their attention. The 8 are the children of the gods, who are like the former, pharaoh type things that ascended to godhood. So you pray to the 8, and you are fearful of the 6. But in addition to that, cool. There's also belief that the world is full of spirits as well, too, whether you're a ritualist or not. So that's pretty cool. And then your languages will be Howls and Gerwan. So then, do you, Jeffrey, do you want to play a ritualist, or you want to play a character that does not use magic?
I mean, I don't really know what it means in the game.
So the two...
Like, is it like a traditional spellcaster, like sort of D&D like? Or...
very different. Each of the different cultures has 2 different traditions, and each of the traditions is different and has 4 different rites. So the Gerwa traditions, one of them is the Hekas, who are like alchemists and outcasts from the Ger system. Their rites involve sympathetic magic and distillation of the elements of the world. And the others are either, depending if you're a man or a woman, the Hemnetjer or the Hemetnetjer, who are basically priests and priestesses of the living gods of Ger. Their rites call on the gods to manifest their influence and servants. If your guy's kind of an outcast and has been kind of a fuck up, probably neither of those traditions.
Yeah, I was just gonna say neither of those sound like the sort of character I'm after here. So
yep, no problem.
No, I don't think he's
So that makes it easy to do then. So guys, then let's talk about your stats then. So your attributes, the attributes in the game are strength, deftness, vitality, courage, and wisdom. If you are a ritualist, you also have one called devotion, but we're not going to talk about devotion again because neither of you guys are casters. So, there are some derived attributes as well, too, but those are the ones you need to focus on right now. Each of those starts at a 9, which is the human average, and then you get to add 17 attribute points to those. No attribute can start higher than 18. So each of them starts at 9, and you get to add 17 more points. If you want to see what those attributes each do, it's on page 40 of the core rulebook.
Maybe just the description right next after is good enough.
Yeah. Okay. So, what are you guys thinking? Who's strong? Who's clever? Who's courageous? And what your stats will help determine is how many points you get to spend in your different types of skills. You can see on that skill selection, it tells you how you go about doing the calculation. And what are you thinking? Is someone particularly strong? Someone particularly agile? Wise?
I'm not really leaning towards any attribute being too high, So
one of the things, You can absolutely do that. It also, because like swords and sorcery characters are generally, unless they are intended to be kind of masters of all, or jack of all trades, master of none type characters, you do want to sort of pick certain things to be good at. Like one of the nice things they say when we get to the skill selection thing is they expressly say, look, you should have at least one martial skill and one or two other skills at 65, because that's what your character's sort of key thing is. Hirelings are a thing in this game, just like they are in like old school D&D. So you can find other ways. It's okay for your characters to not be good at everything, because you're likely not going to be. That said, Jeff, if what your idea is a character who is sort of like dabbles in a lot of different things, that's fine. Just when you play the character, you're going to find that it will be a character who's sort of
he will fail at things.
He'll fail at things, yeah, absolutely. I'm trying to make a tactical way of being like, yeah. What about you, Arlen? How are you thinking for your character? I just have
one question for that, then, though.
Oh, of course, yeah. What's up?
What is a good attribute? Like, where do they start to be considered good? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if I want to be mildly good, let's say I want to be strong, but not like Hercules.
I mean, like, so strength is an easy one to judge, because once you have a strength of 12, you start getting a bonus to your damage. I guess. So here's one thing to start thinking of: is your character a melee fighter or a ranged fighter? This is a world of muscle and blood and violence, so you're going to be getting in fights. How does your character survive in those circumstances?
Well, I mean, I did get a bonus to my ranged combat from my history as a Gurwa, so I'm thinking maybe I'll be a ranged combatant. Like maybe he tries to stay out of direct melee if he can. So
yeah. So I mean, like strength and was it deafness, and the ones that play. Where's my skill selection list here? So deafness, vitality, and courage all play into defensive skills, and strength, courage, and deafness all play into martial skills. So if you want to play a martial character, deafness and courage are two things that regularly come up with that stuff. What about you, Arlen? What are you thinking, Huz?
So I'm working on the math right now, but what I've got right now is a fairly broad spread with strength at the highest, because he's a tough fighter, and wisdom at the lowest, because he isn't really kind of learned yet, right? He's working towards that. That's his sort of goal, but he's not really there yet, is the idea. So he's got enough strength for a plus 1d6 damage bonus, which seems nice. And so he's going to be a melee fighter. Got high courage, because I feel like that's kind of cool. And that kind of fits the character to be like, we're going to go brave the depths of all this ancient knowledge and come out unscathed, hopefully, and all that sort of stuff. I think I've got a good array right now.
Yeah, and it's nice that so many of the things in the game, like your derived stats and your starting skill points, that stuff comes from a combination of different skill attributes. But you also don't, your characters aren't going to suck, because you've got a fair amount of points to go around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5. So basically, I guess you're like 12 in everything, plus another 2 points is maybe a starting point, and then you can dial up, dial down, Jeff?
Yeah, I just have a question. So do I have devotion?
No, because you're not a ritualist.
Oh, so 0 is my devotion.
Yeah, your devotion is 0.
Oh, so I have 17 points to spend on only 5 skills.
Correct, 5 attributes.
Oh, yeah, so they do go up quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it says something here about corruption.
We're going to ignore corruption for now, because it's unlikely. Like, I mean, if we don't ever go back to these characters, then,
I just didn't know what that was. I was just curious.
Oh, sure, yeah. So what it is, corruption is something you can encounter. It's kind of like taint in Five Rings. It's an element of chaos that corrupts your characters towards the evil kind of side. It's a little bit moralistic, so like, unnecessary murder and things like that can bring you corruption. Traveling in the wastes or the former regions that are powerful with the Takani magic. And the Takan are only one of the ancient cultures that are found not only in the Zaharets, but in the region in general. There's an ancient... there's a bunch of different cultures that are also sort of based on... In the same way that, like, Conan's Hyborian world is based on real-world, cultures and civilizations. There's something similar here, but it's a little less of a direct analog. But there are other fallen, and forgotten kingdoms that are out there. It's just that the Barak Barad are the most recent kind of evil thing.
Whoops. I'm finding things that I didn't do right on the character sheet. So
what
your current metal and your max metal are going to be the same for now until I fix that.
Okay. No problem. All right.
Are the breakpoints for the other attributes similar to strength?
Sort of.
Or
Basically,
it's not so finicky. Like, I could just pick any number, and it's not like if I choose a 15 wisdom over a 16 wisdom, I'm just totally messing my character up.
Well, 15 factors into a lot of... Like, wisdom factors into your urban skills, your knowledge skills. If you look at the skill selection list, it'll tell you what your different attributes will be important for. Courage is sort of an important one almost everywhere, so having a good courage is a good idea. But your wisdom is the sole attribute that informs your knowledge skills, how well learned and whatnot that you want your character to be about your culture, other cultures, about just general knowledge. That's going to be reflective of your wisdom, as is your... but if you're a magician, but you're not. Or a ritualist, rather.
Okay, so I'm looking at 10 strength, 15 deafness, 10 vitality, 12 courage, and 15 wisdom.
Nice.
Does that seem about...
Yeah. Yeah, to be honest, I've run precisely one combat in this,
okay.
So, we'll see.
I mean,
that sounds... It'll be interesting to see how... yeah. Okay, so then, next thing, guys, is adding in your derived attributes. So your initiative score is whatever your deafness is plus 1d6. You don't roll that. It's just that when you roll initiative, you'll roll 1d6 plus your initiative.
So on the initiative spot, just put your deafness score because the button will add 1d6.
Awesome. Who designed this awesome character sheet?
I know. There must be a pretty cool dude.
Definitely. All right. And then your melee damage bonus will be a function of your strength. So if you had a 10, Jeff, your character... Oh, you know what, Jeff, you want to add a name to your character, we can do a traveler style thing and follow along after we've already given him a name. Names for Gerwa.
I did choose a name.
Oh,
I just didn't change my name on here.
Oh, okay, yeah. What's your name? Oh, Kamal.
Mal.
Nice, love it. Okay.
Wow.
Then your move is the number of yards you can move in a turn. It's your 10 plus your deafness divided by 3, and we round down. So whatever your deafness is divided by 3, rounding down, add that to 10. And that's how what your move is. Your metal is equal to your vitality plus your courage divided by 2 and rounded down. Metal is a really interesting attribute that measures not only your... So it's sort of like your fatigue, and it plays into not only overland travel and other aspects, but it plays into how easily it is to injure you, in a serious way, grievously in combat. Wounds is the number of actual damage you can suffer before dying. Wounds per row are your vitality divided by 2. What is your respective vitalities, guys?
Mine is 10.
10? Okay, so you got 5.
I have a 12, so...
Okay. Kamal, so you got 5 and 6 per row for Gerard. Awesome, okay.
So how does that work?
So the way that wounds work in this is you'll have 3 rows of wounds. The character sheet does it in a more direct way. So it's like this here. You have your wounds that are in here, and you'll have 3 rows worth of it. And it's equals to 1/2. But when you're in combat, there's a stat called Valor. Valor is kind of like your temporary hit points, or like it's your ability to avoid getting seriously wounded. Once you've lost, you just lose Valor like you would in hit points in D&D, and you have no effect with it. As long as you haven't lost any wounds at the end of combat, you just catch your breath, you get all your Valor back. But Valor fluctuates based on what your metal is and how injured you are in your wounds. If you have three levels of wounds left still, then it's 3 times your current metal. That's how many Valor you have to start a combat encounter with. If your wounds go down, you can see how, like, if you've only got 1 level of wounds left and your metal is, say, an 11, that means you've only got 11 Valor as opposed to the 33 that you would have if you were fully healed up.
Right.
And then your metal goes down over time too. If it's your fatigue, like you can get exhausted from travel, you can be, there's spells that can affect your metal, so your metal also can go down too. So as you go on long adventures and such, you can see that the sort of threshold, that safety cushion you've got over time gets smaller and smaller until you get a chance to rest up and get proper healing done and to recover your metal in a bastion of law.
Cool. So in this case, on this character sheet, I should put my wounds per row at my wounds number, which is 5, and count down. And if it gets to 0, then I have 1 row of wounds, basically.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to set up a character or a token that's going to have 3 times your wound level, and we'll just kind of keep track of. There's a lot of things to keep track of in the game, and it's tough to pick what 3 things you're going to track. Fortunately, neither of you guys are ritualists, so we don't need to worry about keeping track of your devotion points. So that is one upside. All right. So we have your stats and your clash points. Now these are really important. Clash points are equal to your deafness plus your courage divided by 5, rounded down. So your deafness plus your courage divided by 5 and then rounded down. Okay. These are the things that we talked about before we went live, Jeff, where it's that currency. It refreshes at the start of each turn. It's the stuff you use to hit harder, to run that extra distance, to defend yourself against adversaries.
Okay.
It's also what you use to cast spells as well. Okay, then guys, with those decided, next up is generating your skills. So I'm on page 42. But it's got the same information that's right here. Since neither of you guys are ritualists, what you guys have is 186% that you can now distribute amongst your common skills. Nothing can be higher than 75 at this stage. And then you'll have to calculate what your defensive skills are, your martial skills, your knowledge skills, and your urban skills.
And those are after this?
Those are, you can do them at the same,
oh, I see. Oh, no. Oh.
Yeah.
Each one has their own amount of points.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're yeah, so, yeah. And the other thing is you can transfer points between different categories, but it's a 2-for-1 deal. So you can transfer, you could transfer 10 points from one of the categories to another one, but you only get to assign 5% there. And if it's easier, you could put in chat what your totals are and then kind of spend from there.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oops.
Okay. So, what have you guys got for... I think with your high wisdom, you're going to have a ton of knowledge skills. Now, the one skill you cannot raise, Kamal, I think as a Gerwa, you start with an ancient lore of 10%. Is that right? Jeff?
Is what?
I think as Kamal, don't you start with an ancient lore of 10%?
Yes, I did.
Okay, yeah. So you cannot otherwise raise that during character creation.
Oh, okay.
Ancient lore is kind of like the Call of Cthulhu Cthulhu mythos skill. It's a thing that you learn when you're exposed to the stuff, and I give you points.
Okay.
There is no sanity mechanic in the game, though. There is corruption, but there's no sanity mechanic. This is closer to Conan, where you'll encounter strange and unknown things, but you're going to beat the shit out of them. You're not going to, be driven off mad into a sanitarium. Hey, Robert's in chat as well, too. Hi, everyone else. Brian, what's going on? Jeffrey, howdy. Corey, hello. Thomas, what's going on? Sounds like a word created by our first Acadia Classics teacher. Oh, totally. I can't remember his name. I don't remember his name either. I just know that he taught me how to say arete correctly. One of my buddies from undergrad is in chat right now, too. And Robert, it's unsurprising that Robert Great picked the game up as well. Oh, you're vaguely... Oh, Robert didn't. He said he saw it, thought it was a miniature game. Yeah, Robert, it's pretty cool. It's a really neat setting. It's a neat setting. There's a lot of neat mechanics in it as well, too. I'm very much interested in learning more. We're at the time of recording, the only book out is the core rulebook. So it's got that kind of... it's at the fun part of the publication history of a game where there's tons of great mysteries that are suggested by the game, but we don't know much about them. So I'm really looking. The next release for it is a kind of like a mega adventure called The Fall of the Children of Bronze, I think, and it looks pretty awesome. And it promises to have more information about some of those lost empires that I mentioned too. So seems pretty cool. And during that, the interim, I can just make shit up. It's so unheard of for me, I know. But, I just realized that the Malconi on the cover has a wolf belt matching his wolf shield. That's badass. Okay, all common spent, all knowledge spent, all urban spent.
Yeah, that's just me tracking my points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Definitely. I know you're trying to do math in your head too. I'm just yapping to not have dead air here.
No, that's okay. If I'm not saying anything, it's because it's slightly tricky.
Of course. Yeah. No problem at all. One thing I forgot. Remind me at the end of the session, guys. When we finish up, we roll for passive advancements at the end of the session. So as we tick off your characters, as you use skills when we actually play, make sure that you remind me to get you to roll that at the end of the session, because that's just like we award XP in D&D. Hey, let's see here. While I'm doing that, good folks at home can watch me prep a thing here for you guys. Okay. I was telling the guys before I went live that I have... Oh, what did I just do? No, it doesn't matter. I actually went online and kept trying to find pictures of wilderness areas in Lebanon and Israel and Syria to try and find some good landscape to match the Zaharets, because that's obviously what kind of it's inspired by. I found some pretty awesome pictures of the region. Let's see here. I need this. Okay. So in what direction are you guys leaning with your characters? Is anyone picking certain skills? Remember that the suggestion is you have 1 or 2 skills at a 65% at least at this stage.
Yep.
What non-combat skills are you seeing your characters specializing in or focusing on?
Perception and survival are both big for me. Ride is pretty big because I figured that might be useful for getting around.
Yep.
What else? Trade, I got pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
Athletics, willpower, I got really high, and melee combat, I got maxed out. So
nice. What about you, Jeff? What are you thinking for Kamal?
So far I've done urban, martial, and defensive.
Mm-hmm.
So under urban, I have a 65 deception. So I'm good at deception. And under martial, I have a 70 ranged, and under defensive, a 65 dodge. And then, various points on the other stuff.
Nice.
Just gonna do knowledge, and then do the hard one at the top with the most points.
Oh, the common skills, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. I think I have almost all the images set that I wanted. Good. Oh, and I got one more to set up here. Cool. Excellent. They got a random magical creation system for magic items as well. Magic items are, of course, part of the setting as well, too. But it's cool. And they also have them keyed to being cultural. So it gives magic items that kind of like that almost like baked in history, because it's coming from a specific culture. And not just the cultures that you guys are from. All right.
Okay.
Let's head back to our heroes here. There we go.
8. Just about done.
No problem. There's absolutely no rush here. Let's see what our next thing is here. Even having the character sheets makes it enormously. Last time we had to write down all the skills and their starting points and then spend the points. So this, once again, a huge thank you to Arlen. All right, since neither of you guys are ritualists, you guys will get more traits as well. So, Jeff, you're just filling those numbers in. Maybe what we can do is, Arlen, why don't we go on to step 6 with your character? So on page 47, you will get 2 general traits, and you will get 2 Lawathi traits. And what these are is that when you make a skill check, and one of these traits will apply, you roll an extra d10, and you can sub that one in for the ones digit. And the reason that's important is because when you roll doubles, that's either a crit success or a crit fail. So the ones digit gives you a chance to avoid crit fails more often and a chance to get crit successes. So, 2 from general traits on 47, excuse me, and then 2 from the Lawathi traits on 48. Okay.
All right. I think I am going to get Bearer of the Eye of Chium.
Nice.
To do perception for detecting ambushes. My
Excellent.
perception's already pretty high, and avoiding ambushes seems like a good idea.
Most definitely, yeah.
And then what else? Maybe Nose of the Jackal, since I've got such a high survival. Survival for tracking, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very cool. Okay. And then you get 2 from the Lawathi as well, too. Actually, I'm going to write down so I remember them as well, too. You took Bear of the Eye of Chium and Nose of the Jackal, right?
Yes.
Okay. So that's Gerard. Okay. Perception for ambushes. Excellent. All right. Alrighty. So the cool glowing green spirit in that one illustration is actually an adversary out of the book, too. A corrupted spirit. Okay. Jeffrey, how is the skill selection going?
3 points left to distribute.
Interesting.
And we can't be above 75, you said, right?
That's right, yeah. And you should have at least one combat skill at 65, and you should have one or two other skills at 65 to be sort of your signature thing. I think Arlen said he picked Perception, and is Survival your other one at 65?
Perception's at 75 and Survival's at 70.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, so I'm real good at both of those.
Okay.
And what else do I have higher than 65? Melee combat and willpower are both higher than 65 also.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that the game does as well is it's sort of expected that you're going to get your stats over 100 pretty early on. And then when you do that, you gain access to other traits for your skills as they get above. So it's either neat things you can do with clash points or other types of things that will trigger. It's a really neat way of kind of making the badass characters feeling even more badass without making them, like, just because you got 100 in your skill, you still have to roll higher than what someone else does, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when it's over 100, I think you get to add that to your skill roll too. So like if you got 110, you actually roll your dice and add 10 to it. But let me double check that.
All right, I picked my Luathi traits.
Nice. Which traits did you pick for the Luathi?
I did a Balm in Gilead, which is healing for treating wounds.
Nice. Okay.
Seems like that might be useful. And I was thinking about lore for history, but that description is trained at the scriptorium, and I don't really think that's the background for my character. I think my character is less of a classically trained lore seeker. He's a bit more rough and tumble than that.
Yep.
So I decided Waste Wanderer, which is lore for survival.
Oh, that's super cool. Well, for survival. Awesome. So, Kamal, have you spent all your points now?
Yes.
Then, next thing you get to do on page 47, Jeff, is you're going to pick 2 traits from the general traits category and 2 from the Gerwa traits category. These are, what they allow you to do is you roll an extra d10 when they would apply, and then you can substitute that for your ones digit. And the reason that's important is because if you roll doubles, it counts as a critical success or a critical fail. So rolling that extra dice lets you either get a critical success or avoid a critical fail, or at least it potentially does. And you get 2 from General and 2 from Gerwa. The General ones that Arlen selected for Gerard are Bearer of the Eye of Chium and Nose of the Jackal.
Okay.
Oh, and that's clever. The 3 born under traits, you can only have one of them, but they're the 3 defensive skills.
Yeah.
So
and it's also
one of them, but not all 3.
That is, I believe, also the 3 moons in the sky.
Okay, I'm gonna go with. Ooh, there's such good ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm totally gonna go with Grave Countenance, which is influence for intimidating.
Nice. Grave Countenance.
Maybe that's how he stays out of trouble a lot of times.
Nice. Okay.
So that is influence for intimidating. And I'm going to go with Born Under Kuwama. Oh. Okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah, born under a coma. Okay. So dodge is the defense that is used against ranged attacks.
And seeing as I'm a ranged shooter, I expect to get into that.
Most definitely. Okay, so I'm wrong about the number over 100. What it means is you can divide your martial skills into smaller amounts and attack multiple times. And for every 20% over, that's when you start to get to select the, what do you call it? The traits, or talents, I think they're called. Yeah, skill talents. The way that the difficulty numbers are handled in this is, it's not like modern Call of Cthulhu where it's divided, it's just added or subtracted.
Yeah, because it's based on it's based on Open Quest, which is what Open Quest does. It's just 25% up or down for a small thing, and 50% up or down for a big thing.
I think it's 20 and 40 in this game, though.
Oh, well, I remember in Open Quest that's what it is.
Yeah.
Because that was when I was doing the math for Zweihander, and I was talking about how advantage is basically the same 25% shift.
No, you're right, 25. I don't know why I thought 2040. I'm trying to think if I've read another percentile game recently that's made me think of that. There must be some other game I'm thinking. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably fucking Pendragon. From adding to the roll. Yeah. Okay. I have to superimpose the D20 roll onto a D100 system. Okay. So then, did you pick your 2 Gerwa benefits?
Yep.
Traits. Which 2?
Black arrows from the south.
Nice.
Which is ranged combat for Gerwa bow.
Okay.
And Guardian of the Tombs.
Oh, cool.
Which is perception for seeing what is hidden.
That is very cool. All right. So, one thing we did when we played this the first time was we completely forgot about the traits. So maybe before we jump in, we'll go back and just take a look at the traits to remind us which one of your what skills get the benefit from, because you have 4 different ones for you guys. All right. So
what?
Oh, the traits, just because the traits give you that extra dice to roll.
Oh.
Yeah. What I found was just we immediately forgot about it. So we will make sure we before we start playing.
I bet there's a way to put a thing on the character sheet that has like a marker next to the skill, if you like next to the check.
Yeah.
If you've got a trait for that skill, so that it reminds you when you click.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So, like, for example, like born under comma. So, like, whenever I use dodge, I get that extra D10.
Let's see here.
Is that what it's saying? Like, that's what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, whenever you use dodge, you get to roll that extra D10. Okay, so then, guys, next thing is... Actually, this is going to be interesting. Now we're doing some character questions. So long as you guys do this, you guys will get some advancements that you'll be able to now bump your skills potentially above 10%, above the 75. So... first, we're going to do the same question with each of you guys, and I'll go in reverse order. We'll go one person, the next person, then we'll go the reverse order. So, Jeff, let's start with you. Jeff, what caused your character to leave the comfort of the community and strike out as a jackal?
I mean, I think that's sort of the one thing that was put forward in my character concept. I think he's tried to fit in everywhere in the Gerwa culture. In any trade or jobs, he's basically tried his hand at almost everything, and he just never fits in. And so, maybe he's even burned a few bridges with some, from his home village. Ruined too many batches at the bakery, or an important ship sunk that he was, from his woodworking skills, whatever the case may be. And so he is sort of an outcast now and gone out to walk the War Road?
The War Road, yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, okay. Arlen, what caused your character to leave the comfort of the community and strike out as a jackal?
Well, we talked about this thirst for knowledge, but I think there's the thirst for knowledge, and then the kind of simultaneous element that he has sort of a natural ability with survival in the wild, and that sort of gave him a sense that maybe he really could not just that he needed to go out and find this stuff, but maybe he could succeed at doing that because he has this, really good at surviving without the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds great. And Arlen, what causes your jackal to hesitate on the war road?
I think it is the difficulty of so the name of the culture, the Luathi, right? They fought this Beastman Empire and all that sort of stuff, and he really believes in that kind of struggle for freedom. And so when he is in a situation where he has to fight or steal from or do something negative to other people, right, humans, he really is sort of uncomfortable because he's got a sense that sort of we're all in this together trying to fight the Beastmen.
Yep.
And so he doesn't, that causes him to hesitate or shirk from his duties or whatever.
It's worth mentioning too that the even perhaps more so, the Gerwa have a constant reinforcement of their god's power and their presence because of spirits and whatnot, and what a prominent place the priesthood plays. The Luathi have a similar constant reminder of why Alwayn is so important, is because the first kind of priestess of Alwayn is the one who led the rebellion. The freedom of the Luathi people is sort of intrinsically tied with Alwayn and the worship of the god. There's not really, you can't really ask for more direct evidence that this god favors your people because this god helped free your people from So what about you, Jeff? What causes your jackal to hesitate on the war road?
I think I don't know the exact word I'm looking for here, but any friendliness or generosity, things that he's sort of been burned by all this experience, and now he's sort of, I'm a loner, I don't need anybody else, and he's sort of got that feeling. And so if people are welcoming or whatever, come join us by our fire. No, I'll make my own little fire over here.
Yep.
I think he's hesitant with joining up with anyone or anything that seems too buddy.
Sure.
He's not into it. Yeah.
Then Jeff, who helped your jackal begin their journey?
I think it would be someone who came through my village, another jackal or a group of them, and maybe it was a single one who. From them, I sort of learned that this was an option to just sort of leave one's community and just be an outcast and go walk the war road and sort of live your own adventurous life. Before I met them, I thought, well, I just got to keep trying to, I got to get on to the next thing. I guess maybe I'm a leather worker or, kept trying to fit in. And once he met this other jackal, he was like, wow, this is an option.
I can almost picture him cutting wood for someone as his most recent jobs. He finds this out. He's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
Slams the axe down and just walks off.
Goes and gets his bow and just I'm going to take off.
Yeah. Love it. So then Arlen, who helped your jackal begin their journey?
I think it's his parents. I think he might be the second or third son, and so they sort of realized that he couldn't just take over his dad's job, and they kind of figured out that he had this sort of wanderlust in him, and so they helped provide what gear they could and then their sort of stuff, and kind of did their best to prepare him for this kind of strange life that isn't at all like theirs, but they probably realize there is some good you can do as an outsider too.
Yeah, nice. Then Arlen, what is the worst possible fate you see for your character?
Delving too deep, right? unlocking something in the ancient ruins or something like that that comes back to harm not just him but like his civilization, right? Going down into the depths of some Barak Barad temple or something like that and wake up an ancient spirit and oops, we just destroyed a city or something like that. That's definitely his kind of worst possible fate.
Nice. Okay, yeah, I love it. Jeffrey, what is the worst possible fate you see for your character?
I think that he's sort of like thinking, I don't know, finding a wife, getting married, growing old, running a bakery or, some mundane life now has just become like his worst nightmare of like returning to society in that way.
That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Then, Jeffrey, what was the first trial your jackal encountered on the war road?
I think that it would have been like a group of thieves or thugs or brigands or something. He thought, oh yeah, this is the life. I just head out, travel, things are great, and maybe like the first few miles he was robbed of almost all of his stuff that he brought. Like, so
you've given me an opportunity to mention one other bit of nomenclature that is common to this region. Those who are kind of heroes, those who are beneficial, who help people but stand outside the fire, those are jackals. And there are those outside the fire who prey on the communities. Those are wolves.
So
bandits and raiders are wolves.
Yeah, maybe he thinks, oh, these people are all jackals, and it was sort of his first experience with wolves, and they left him just with his bow, like, oh, we can't use this piece of Gurwa trash, and it's sort of like the only thing that he kept from his first encounter.
Love it. Okay. Arlen, what was the first trial your jackal encountered on the war road?
I think it's probably like the first time he was in like not necessarily a life or death fight, but a fight that was more serious than just like roughhousing with his brothers, right? That he, maybe got to one of the city states and ended up, on the wrong side of town because he didn't have a lot of money to stay anywhere nicer, and ended up in a tussle with somebody tried to rob him, or maybe just somebody that he smart talked to or something like that. And, really had to kind of depend on himself for the first time. Right.
Okay. Love it. Yeah. Then Arlen, if your character were to lay down their life for something, what would it be?
I think it would probably be sort of like an idealized vision of like the Luwathi kind of knowledge or people, like the idea of like, how like soldiers talk about like the girl back home who you dance with one night, and it's sort of like that. It's this kind of idea of somebody who doesn't even necessarily know his name, but they might benefit from his knowledge, the knowledge that he brings back in the future, and that's what he's ready to lay it down for.
So he would lay down his life to ensure the knowledge he gains gets back to the community?
To ensure that that the knowledge gets back, or that somehow that what he lays down his life for ultimately benefits his people, even though he's kind of apart from them.
Yep. Okay. Love it. Yeah. Jeffrey, if your character were to lay down their life for something, what would it be?
I don't think it would be for like normal. I think he would lay down his life to avoid enslavement, or being put back into the box, basically.
Yeah. Love
now that he's out, nothing will stop him.
Okay. Then Jeffrey, what would cause your character to retire from the life of a jackal?
I think physically being unable to do it anymore. I don't think he's in it for riches or whatever. It is his lifestyle, and so, just the inability to travel. Like if he couldn't walk the road anymore, or he couldn't feed himself or whatever, then he would be forced to stop. But it would be you'd see him out there with a cane walking the road before you would see him retire.
So even though he's like a little growly and whatnot with other people too, it does sound like in his mind he's living his best life when he's...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Arlen, what would cause your character to retire from the life of a jackal?
I think probably actually something similar, that if he felt like he didn't really have much of a future as a jackal, right? If he got like badly wounded and couldn't really defend himself in a fight anymore, or if he, saw something so terrible that he knew that if he ever got back into a situation like that, he would, let down his friends or something like that. That it really, it's kind of, if he got into that position where he kind of realized that, he's worn him, he's, burned it all up and used up his 9 lives, and that's when he's ready to retire.
Okay. And then final question, Arlen, which is more important to your character, power or wisdom?
I think that's a complicated question, because I think it
has to pick one. Power?
I'm gonna pick wisdom, but I'm gonna say it's more. It's like he idealizes wisdom, even though he depends on power. Right?
Yeah. And then Jeffrey, last question: which is more important to your character, power or wisdom?
Wisdom, obviously. Wisdom is power.
Okay.
With the wisdom of, that he could leave and travel the roads, the knowledge of how to light a fire to save his life, how to hunt and cook, and all these. He then sort of, once he started traveling the road, he saw all the skills that he couldn't master, but he did have knowledge of from all of the trades that he had worked in, actually helped him survive and live as a jackal.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay,
I can't make the best boat, but I could make a canoe if I had to.
You can make do. Yeah. Oh, that's great. I love it. So then, guys, with all of those in mind, I guess one thing I want to ask before we get onto the mechanical benefits of having gone through those questions, how did your characters come together? I'm going to leave it to you guys to figure out, why do we find these two heroes marching the war road or walking the war road together?
I mean, from I think Kamal's perspective is... Sorry, do you have a name for your character?
Gerard.
Gerard. I think that Gerard he's like just the only other person that I can sort of stand right now. Maybe he doesn't try to put me in a box or... give me a role, and so life's easier on the road with two.
Yeah,
that's something I've learned. Someone to watch your back.
Yeah,
maybe it wasn't even long after the wolves got me that I sort of learned that lesson, that two is much stronger than one on the road.
Maybe you were sleeping when you were set upon.
Yeah,
or something like that. So Gerard, one thing I want to point out too is Kamal. One of his cultural traits is spotting hidden things.
Mm-hmm.
So exploring ancient ruins and things like that. He's really got an eye for that shit.
Well, and I'm guessing from the sound of it that Kamal has kind of been around a little bit longer on this road and is a little bit more of a kind of veteran of this life, whereas Gerard's still a little more fresh-faced. And Gerard probably recognizes that, he could use somebody who knows how to survive if he's going to go out and be successful at this sort of thing, because, you could easily not survive.
Yep. Nice. Then, guys, because you answered all those questions, you will get 3 passive advancements and 1 active advancement. I mentioned that at the end of the session, we always roll for passive advancement. It's just like it is in other BRP influence games, you want to roll percentile and you want to roll higher than what your current skill is, and then you'll get to raise it up by a certain amount. And then what an active advancement is, just you get to add plus 10% to the skill. So obviously you're going to want to roll your 3 passives first and then spend the active, because it will just make it harder to advance your skill if you spend 10% first. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So if you fail, let's see here. If you fail the skill, well, it depends on how high your skill is. Let's start with, we'll go reverse again. Arlen, what skill do you want to start with for your 3 passive advancements?
What do I want?
And you want to roll a fail on this.
All right. I want to do, do I have to choose different skills, or could I like put them all into one, or?
I think you can keep doing them on one if you like. Yeah.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to, but that's good to know. So I'm going to do Culture Other.
Okay, so go ahead and roll that.
For the first one.
So wait, you want to roll above or below the...
Above it. You want to fail.
Above it, like that.
Or ideally critically.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Culture Other, that's a fail, and it's only a 15% right now. So that means you gain 5% to that skill.
Nice.
Well, Jeff, what's the first one you want to try?
Let me try... let's go with Stealth.
Okay. Go ahead and roll Stealth. Come on. Oh, you succeeded. All right. Arlen, what's the next passive one you want to try?
Give me a second. Just a second. I'm uploading a picture. So
for your character. Okay.
Now all right. I'm back on the character sheet. All right. What's the next one?
Nice. I'll pull your...
I want... The picture isn't perfect. It's a little... He's got a bit more beard, and he's not quite as dark as I picture him, but it's pretty close. It's hard to find super Semitic looking bearded warriors.
It is very hard finding Bronze Age anything that doesn't
Bronze
look
Age
like a
anything
kid's
is a little hard, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go for healing, even though it's a little higher, because I think it'd be useful if it got...
What is your metal?
My metal is 13.
13, okay. The reason I ask is because 13 times 3 is 39. I'm setting your vitality, or your vigor, rather. Valor, your valor. God.
Valor.
Fucking V words. All right, and how many clash points do you have?
I have 5 clash points.
5 clash points, all right. So then, let's see here. Boom, there you go. Your green is your clash points, your blue is your valor, and your wound is, I just multiplied your wound rating by 3.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to do medicine for my next passive check.
Okay, here we go.
Or healing, not medicine.
Healing, okay, come on.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. Fail.
Oh, no.
Succeed. All right. Jeffrey, what is Kamal's next roll?
Let's try for... melee combat.
Okay. There you go. Fail.
Oh my goodness.
Jeez. All right.
Of course I'm on fire right now, and then we're going to play the game, and it's just going to be like...
Sounds like the game knows you. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Arlen, what's your final passive advancement going to be?
It's going to be dodge.
Dodge, okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Come on. Fail.
Yeah.
And because your dodge is a 40, that's plus 5% to it.
Nice.
Okay. And then, Jeffrey, what is your final one going to be?
Let's go for... Screw it. Let's go for dodge.
Okay.
Oh, wouldn't have mattered what skill I chose with a 7.
All right. Here's some good news. You now still get to pick one skill, guys, and raise it by 10%. It can go over 75.
Nice. That's hilarious.
Oh, my goodness. So once you guys are finished, let's see here. I don't. So Jeff, I don't have an awful lot of I use that dreadlocked dude for Mo's character last time, just because that was the closest I had to an Egyptian-looking character. So I'm not sure if you've got an image in mind.
Yeah, I'm just looking. I'll see if I can find one right away.
Okay. If you look for, if you do an image search for Legend of the Burning Sands, there was one culture in that card game that had that was based on Egypt as well. So there might be some character art from that. That might be appropriate. I don't know if you remember playing Legend of the Burning Sands back in the day, but Jeff, do you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah, because I can't remember what the name of the culture was in that game, but
screw it. I'm gonna do this.
Nice. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do too? What color do you think Fate is, guys? Red, blue, yellow, green, purple?
Purple's not bad.
Purple's
Yeah.
Purple? Okay. So there's how we'll track fate points. Fate points are something you start the adventure with 3, and then at the start of each session, you gain 1 back. Fate points, I put together a handout for you guys as well. Fate points, here we go. You can use them to re-roll failed checks, but you must keep the re-roll. You can re-roll damage, and you keep the highest of the 2. You can add a narrative twist to the scene. You can invoke a talent that you don't have, and to prevent death at 0 wounds. So when you hit 0 wounds, normally you die, but this will allow you to survive. So it's similar to Astonishing Fortune. You'll also get extra points. Exceptional role-playing, when you complicate the story for yourself in some way, when you complete an act in the story, or when I invoke one of your traits negatively. So you'll be getting fate points back as well. But it's one of those things, I think, given the heroic nature of the game, it's one of the things that you're intended to be kind of using. Okay. What skills did you guys choose to advance?
I went with influence.
Nice. And for Gerard?
I just put more into melee combat.
Excellent. Okay. Then, guys, next thing we're doing is selecting your equipment. On page 50, they have your what you get a choice of starting with. So you start with either linen or leather armor, which gives the same protection. No, leather gives 2. It's the same weight. Linen or leather armor, you select 1 ranged weapon, 1 close combat weapon that's 2-handed, and a dagger, or you select linen or leather armor, a shield, which can be replaced with a 1-handed weapon, a ranged weapon, and a 1-handed combat weapon, and a dagger. And you also get a backpack, 2 weeks provisions, and some other stuff that's listed there. So you guys can choose who's going to be using a shield. That's really the deciding factor between the two.
I'm going to use a shield.
You're going to use a shield? Okay, so that second one will be your option. Linen or leather armor. Your shield. Select a ranged weapon. If there is any cultural name on the weapon, like the Gerwa axe or the Ger bow, you can't select it unless you're from that culture.
Right.
You could try and acquire it in play, you just can't start with it. And
okay, so So leather armor.
Okay, so leather armor will give you 2. Encumbrance is a thing in this. It's fairly abstracted. So you guys are the 2 options you have are soft armors, which are only 1 point of encumbrance. I don't think it's likely that you guys are going to be over encumbered by the time you start. You just don't start with that much. So, leather armor, and then Yeah, and you can decide what weapons.
Where are the weapons?
Next page over, 52. And they are under the descriptions. Like, underneath the table, there is a list of what the different example weapons are. So, like, a heavy one...
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so is that what the Gare bow is?
The Gare bow is a heavy two-handed weapon. So it means it does 2d6 damage and has 150-yard range.
Because that's the one that I have the thing with, right?
Yes. Black
Oh,
Gare.
although it says Gare bow, and that says Gare bow.
Same thing. Yeah, same thing. Gare is the nation, Garwa are the people.
Okay.
Really not nation, culture more than anything, or kingdom.
Is there a spot on here to put our weapons? Oh yeah, okay, range combat, so that's the range? Or what? Oh no, that's my skill.
Yeah, so up at the top, it's got melee combat and range combat, and it's the same skill number as the one at the bottom, so that you can roll it there. And then if you put in your damage information, like what you would put after /R normally under damage, it'll roll that with the roll button on the other side. And then the weapons themselves, it's under weapons and armor next to skills. It's a fill out table where you just add another row for each thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I also gain a two-handed and a dagger.
Oh, guys. We heard on Twitter, JM is so excited. So the author of the game, I've been in touch. It seems like a really nice guy as well, too. And actually, they on their YouTube channel is Iconic Productions. And they run the game, the author of the game runs this game on there as well, too.
Cool.
Yeah. Actually, you know what I'll do is I will put a link to Iconic Productions in the description of the video as well, too. I don't have it in right now, but after the recording, I'll add that in. So if you want to get even more Jackals stuff, you can head over there. All right, guys. So what kind of gear did you select? What kind of weapons did we select?
I have leather armor, a Gare bow, a spear, and a dagger.
Nice.
Now I'm just typing my other...
And Arlen, what'd you go with?
I've got a kind of classic spear and shield, leather armor, and a hand sling for ranged, although my range is very bad, so probably not use it much, and a dagger for if the spear gets damaged.
Okay, nice. So then, guys, let's see here. What you also get is your backpack, 2 weeks of rations, 30 feet of rope, water skin, 5 torches, and 3d6 times 10 shekels. Those silver shekels are kind of like the currency, or the most common currency in the Zaharets, the Land of Risings. You can find other stuff in the next, the next page over. One of the things that I think is of particular interest is there is something in there called Akalana resin. That is effectively a healing potion. Yeah, it's healing is quite tricky in the game, but what the Akalana resin allows you to do is heal. I think it's 1d6 wounds, but once you use it, you can't benefit from its effects again in the same day.
And can we spend our starting cash on stuff?
Yep,
or
absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so to fill out the other stuff that you've got.
Yeah. Okay. So.
And like SS is silver shekels. CS is copper shekels, and I think it's 1 per 10.
And we have silver shekels?
You have silver shekels, yeah. SS.
Okay.
So you got 110, Arlen, and Jeff's got 80.
Hey, they've got a 10-foot pole, Jeff.
And a spade.
And a spade.
Yeah. There's a hammer here, guys. You got everything you need. Healer's kit is necessary as well too, but I think healing. So let's just quickly tell you how healing works in the game. Because there we go.
Oh, I can't afford it.
Successful healing allows plus 3 bonus wounds to healing. Otherwise, for a full day of bed rest, you get 1d4 wounds back. And you can use Alkalana Resin for 1d6 wounds instantly per day. Okay. Yeah. Scarring is also a thing in this too, and you get negative traits from the scarring. So it's kind of a similar thing to what we use in Mortal Wounds. Okay. Alrighty. So then, oh, did you find an image for your character there, Jeff?
I was, and then I stopped to buy stuff.
Sorry.
Oh, good.
Let's see here. Let's see. I
haven't found anything good yet.
I'm just looking for. Let's see here. I'm trying to remember what the name of that culture was in Burning Sands, because I know I remember some of the cards being quite cool. I just don't remember.
Yeah, when I just searched for that, there's just like so little.
Yeah. I guess in retrospect, the game was only in print for, 2-3 years, and then went away. So let's see here. There's the Burning Sands art. How about that? Let's see here. Because there's a dude with... I remember there's a card with a dude with a big fuck off, Kopesh. And I have no idea what the character's name was, because it's been,
Oh, goodness.
20 years. Or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we played way more Legends of the Five Rings, and it's even hard to remember those cards.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, and like, so many... Oh, gosh. Let's see here. Fantasy Egypt. What is that?
I know. There's not a lot.
So there is a nation in Pathfinder. I think it's called Geb, and it's got if you do a search for like Pathfinder Geb, that might have some results. Or is Geb a person? Oh, Geb's a person and a place, I guess. Let's see here. Character. You want to play a Anubis, basically?
Yeah, that one is kind of cool, but it's a little over the top.
Yeah, definitely. My goodness. Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't really have...
I think this might be a good one.
Sure. We just need
It
something...
doesn't have... Yeah.
I mean, if we play this more than once, there's only 4 characters in total that we've created for it. That's not too hard to bang out a couple portraits of that. So I could even draw those to give us something. There's also some art in the book as well, too. Just a lot of it features the signature characters.
Yeah, this doesn't have any... This doesn't have the right weapons, but I think it's a good.
Sure. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Wow. Love it. Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Let me get your... Oh, and what's your character's name is Kamal?
Yep.
Okay. Kamal. There we go. So, and your... Kamal is 15, so I'm going to put your red bar at 15. What is your medal?
My medal is 11.
11. Okay, so your max valor is a 33 then, and how many clash points?
Clash points. I have 5.
5. Excellent. Excellent. So then, boom. There we go. And since purple is what we've selected... Oops, wrong thing. Wrong thing, Madison. We'll give you 3 points there. There you go. All right, guys. Almost as if we planned it just in time for our mid-session break, we have your characters together. Have you spent your stuff? Did anyone get any Acalana resin?
I got some.
Yep.
Yep, and I bought a sword as backup too in case my spear breaks, because I don't know necessarily how much that happens in this game, but I know in some other similar games, spears breaking. Spears are real good until somebody, snaps them, and then...
That'd be a dickish thing to do. Oh, so
I know.
One thing I'll mention, guys, is on a Clash result. So I mentioned this before we went live, but just to reiterate. So one of the cool things about the game is that when you choose to spend a Clash point to basically like defend against, if someone's attacking you and you decide to engage them, it becomes a Clash, which means that whoever rolls best, they're the one taking damage. If you guys ever are involved with a Clash and you get a critical success against them, then you get a fate point back in addition to doing maximum damage.
Nice.
So you'll get fate points back for great role-playing, for achieving goals, for me making your life miserable, for you making your life miserable, and from getting critical successes. So you got a lot of things that are going to be feeding in, so feel free. Remember, the fate points can be used to convert fails into successes, successes into criticals.
Right.
Let me see if there's a max of fate points. I don't remember. Fate points. Begin with 3. There is no maximum. And you'll get 1 back at the start of each session as well. Great. So, apart from... Now that we got our character... what is your respective armor ratings, guys? What's the protection you get from your armor? Do you both have leather armor?
I believe so.
Yeah, okay, so it's R2. All right. Okay, then, guys, why don't we take our mid-session break, and then we will come back, and we'll see if we can make life difficult for these heroes on the war road. What do you say?
Sounds good.
Excellent. All right, so for those listening at home, we'll be back momentarily, and yeah, we'll check in with chat as well, too, again, and see how everyone's doing. So, back momentarily. All right. Struggling with my my mic there. Good lord. All right, let's check and see how who else has been in here. Brian, what's going on? What's happening here in the morning? Morning is Ash tomorrow morning, Astonishing Swordsmen and Sorcerers of Hyperborea, and then Pendragon. We're concluding our Mark of the Moldering tomorrow. So, Tom, email income. Oh, fantastic, Tom. Awesome. Brian, what's going on? Get some crazy gaming. Great questions. Oh, Iconic. Hey, what's going on? Thanks so much for retweeting as well, too. They very generously sent around word that we were playing tonight, too. Cool. Rogue, have we tried Symbaroum? I have not. I have a bunch of stuff for Symbaroum Rogue, but I have not actually run it yet. Symbaroum is amazing. I love the art style, the unified look of it. The system is really cool. I love, in particular, that I don't roll dice in that. So it is one of the games I will mention, actually, for anyone who has donated to the Heroes Save Villages campaign. I think... Is Symbaroum in the lead right now, Arlen, or...?
I am just checking right now.
I can't remember which one, because we've got our next...
Symbaroum is in the lead with 2 votes, one for Shadow of the Demon Lord, The Witcher, and Warhammer Fantasy 4E, so could change, but Symbaroum is looking like a favorite of the donors right now.
I actually have it right at right at arm's length here, so...
Nice.
Yeah, it's... I like... I haven't... I prefer to reserve judgment on games until I get them to the actual table and I see how they play, because I don't... I think there's always unanticipated things that come from how games flow as opposed to how they, how they read. But it looks like it's going to be a really fun game. And then, Wayne, what's going on? See there, I'm getting Dark Sun vibes. Yeah, Wayne, I saw your question before about how this compares to Dark Sun. I think it's a very different animal. Dark Sun is D&D. It's a very, very different setting, different characters, different sort of sensibilities, but at its heart, it still is D&D. This is not. There are non-human species, but at least in the core rulebook, none of them are player characters. This is closer to a more authentic Bronze Age thing as opposed to Dark Sun with its no metal and its ubiquitous psionics. Like, Dark Sun is really more of a dark, grittier version of John Carter, more so than what this is. I'd almost be more inclined to call Dark Sun more like Sword and Planet type swords and sorcery, as opposed to this, which is more of a... it's not dark fantasy, it's more like a classical fantasy, Bronze Age fantasy game. So, I don't know if that helps with the distinction between the two, but I think they are very different animals. RuneQuest Glorantha is also a Bronze Age kind of game, but it's very, very different than what Dark Sun is. Dark Sun is just too fantastical to really, I think, effectively compare. But that said, I mean, there's I think they're just different animals. I was going to say that I think maybe you can draw some parallels, like there's deserts in both, I guess, but it's just very otherwise quite different. All right, so we are back now, and we're caught up with chat. So, guys, let me cut and paste your things here. And so, guys, our scene opens on this. A bleak and not bleak, I mean, I guess just a wild and untamed gorge somewhere in the Zaharets. And we can't see, there's no sign of any civilization in here. There is no sign of any kind of what I'm thinking of is, I think, why don't we try this Theater of the Mind, and if it becomes confusing, we'll go to a map. But I think we can do, with only 2 players, I think Theater of the Mind isn't unmanageable.
Works for me.
Let me know if it gets confusing, then we'll... I'm going to put about 30 adversaries down, because... What we see is, from this high perspective, we can hear the sound of shouting. And it's not many people shouting, it's only 1 or 2. And we can't quite make out what's being said. And we get down a little closer to the deep in the gorge. And we see now bursting through the wild. There's no trail here. This is untamed land. We see first, who has the higher move rate?
My move is an 8.
Your move is an 8?
It should be 10
plus your...
Yeah, it's your move is 10 plus...
Plus a third of your deafness rounded down.
What's your deafness score? Isn't it 15?
Yeah.
15 divided by 3 is 5. So your move should be a 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kamal moves faster than Gerard.
All right. So what we see is first Kamal come bursting through this small, copse of cedar trees. And he's racing along. What is Gerard's movement?
Gerard is 13 movement, so
13.
Only a little slower.
Okay. So Kamal breaks through, and we see him, racing along, and you spare a look back over your shoulder, and you shout at him, "I told you that cave wasn't empty!" And then we see Gerard burst through the woods as well, and lumbering along behind you in pursuit. A roar loud enough to fill this entire valley is this. We can see that some Gerwa arrows are sticking out of its gut. But you guys, we see Kamal kind of clatter down to the very bottom of this valley. And as you're running forward, got a healthy lead over Gerard. You're sparing a look back. You look forward in time to see, as you come around a corner, that it seems that some flooding has occurred here recently, because this part of the valley is completely choked with logs and fallen trees. You are about to have this thing, which would you give me Kamal, an ancient lore check, please?
Sure.
Let's see, because if you can get a success out of this... Well, actually, you can't. Oh, so close!
Oh, sick.
Wow.
Oh, but 11 is a
crit failure.
Is a crit failure. Yes! Okay. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that you know precisely what this thing is. So this is a Gadakan. And where other Takan during the time of Barak Barad, the other... And let me bring out a little token for you guys, because that I'm sure you need a reminder of just how horrible this thing is in pursuit of you. Also, let's remind ourselves of the size of it. Before we started I wanted to make sure I had something ready for you as well, to get you in the fighting for your life Bronze Age spirit.
Nice.
All right. So, Kamal, you sort of skitter to a stop, and the pebbles and stones that make up, and the small brook that make up the very valley, or the floor of this valley. And Gerard, you sort of come running around in time to see this, and you're like, how do you react, seeing that Kamal's looking left and right, and this has got to go about 15, 20 feet up of things. This is the point where everything that was washed away by this flood jammed up. And there are effectively walls on either side. You're sort of boxed in here. What does Gerard say as he sees this? So
Gerard takes one look at this and says, "Kamal, start shooting!" and turns around and starts sort of backing up he's trying to kind of put himself between Kamal and the monster when it comes around.
The Gadakan.
So that we can get some shots in.
Awesome. So let me tell you about what you know then. So because you got a crit success, Kamal, here's what you get. Or critical failure. You know that the Takan view the Gadakan as creatures of burden and labor. Hatred is the only spark that kindles their dim minds, and they thrive in the wild. Through some twist of chaos, the Gadakan possess thick gray skin, which hangs in rolls like an elephant, and they tower over the rest of the Takan, even the Atakan. Most disturbing of all is the Gadakan's strong regenerative abilities, which have caused dismay to many Caravan Guard and Jackal. And I think knowing that information, that's the thing that causes you 1 point of metal damage.
So my current metal goes down by 1? Is that how that works?
Yes, your current metal will go down by 1.
It's going to adjust your max metal too, but that's because Arlen forgot to update the names of the attributes.
So why don't you just, if there's a note, is there a note section, or you can just like write something on yourself? Just keep track of your metals down by 1. The only reason it'll matter is because what's your current metal now, Kamal?
10.
10. Okay.
And so you're saying my max goes down like permanently?
No. I'm saying that the sheet displays your max going down if you adjust your current going down. Because
I see what you're saying. I should make a note that it is 11 to return it later.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what that means, guys, is now the first thing we'll do at the start of a fight is we will find out what your current, because your metal is now a 10, Jeff, right?
Yeah.
That means your starting Valor will be 30, and Arlen, yours is equal to 39, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so set your I think
next 39.
Next thing we do, guys, is each of the monsters has a set initiative of so this one it's 12. Guys, go ahead and roll 1d6 plus your deftness, or just roll if the initiative thing works. Just go ahead and click on initiative. 17, nice, Gerard. 20, amazing. Okay, here's another cool thing. Just like in Star Wars or Warhammer Fantasy 3rd, what this does is it sets a ladder. So you guys will both, you're both before, but you choose which of you goes first. So who would like, let's say, what I'm going to say is that this thing is still lumbering in, I'm going to put it 40 feet away from, or 40 yards away from you guys, let's say. As it is, lumbering down into this thing. Gerard, you've taken your, how far away from Kamal do you think you'll be?
Not very, like 10 or 15 yards, maybe.
Okay. So then, which of you guys would like to go first? Kamal or Gerard?
Well, I'll start shooting, right?
Yeah, I might as well have I have my bow, so.
So, one thing I want to point out is that you guys have your clash points. In addition to spending 1 point to respond to an attack, this is the other stuff you can do. So here's how you can opening, closing a door, retrieving an item, and whatnot. Switching weapons, that's one thing you're going to want to keep track of. And then also there are your improved action effects. You can pick one of these and use that per round. So like a power attack, a precise blow when you're in melee, or precise aim, or rapid fire, making a second attack. Those are things you can decide how you want to spend your clash points. Your clash points will regenerate or refresh at the start of your next turn. Okay? So, Jeffrey, what is Kamal doing with his turn?
Okay, so to be clear, should I spend all of my clash points on my turn, or should I save some for defensive stuff?
He is, you have seen that he is slower than what you are. And he is 40 yards away right now.
Okay. So it takes me 1 clash point to clash a charging enemy with a range attack?
No. Clash.
What is that?
I think that means shooting as they get up right close to you, not shooting at them while they're moving.
Yeah. So, the improved actions you're going to do once, otherwise, and you don't need to spend clash points to take your regular action. You get an action automatically for free. Your clash points, it's the thing that lets you do other cool stunts and stuff like that.
Right, so at the beginning I might as well just use my regular action to fire my bow.
Okay. And you spend clash points after you roll, too.
Yeah, because I see that rapid fire is if an attack hits, I can spend 2 points to fire another one. Okay,
and I can tell you that this guy is not going to spend clash points to defend, so you go ahead and make your attack.
Okay, so I just roll this range combat dice.
Yep, and that's a hit. Okay, 64.
And Kev, and so this is where I roll an extra D10.
Right? Yes, you do. Yep. Go ahead and roll an extra D10.
Okay. And if it's so basically if it was a 6, I would have got a critical.
Exactly. Yep, you got it. Okay. Then what we do is, so as this thing is lumbering down, you fire your shot. I will tell you, this thing's thick and rubbery hide is quite tough.
Yeah, I figured.
Go ahead and roll.
So it might be better to overdraw versus rapid fire, right? Put more damage into one shot than to do 2 shots that are both.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I hit, I can overdraw.
Yep.
So I lower my clash by 2.
Yep.
To 3.
Yeah.
And then I do 3d6.
Yep. Go ahead and roll 3d6 damage. Okay. So that's not a great... Now, remember, you can spend a fate point to re-roll your damage and take the higher roll.
And how many fate points do we have?
You have 3 fate points, and remember I gave you all those ways that you get it back? You get it back.
I just wanted to see how many... Okay, so I start with 3, so I'm down to 2. Yeah, I might as well re-roll. That's terrible.
Okay. And remember, the way to change that number on the dot is just to hover over the purple thing and hit a different number.
Oh, right. Okay, you have it there on our thing. Yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
Oh, yeah, way better.
That's better.
All right. So this thing, it roars once again in fury. That seemed to hit. You can see some of its, like the sickening blackish viscous liquid that passes for its blood comes out, and it seems to lean in as if it's going to redouble its efforts to get into you. So your clash points will go down by 2. The green bar.
Oh, it doesn't do it based on the sheet. Okay.
Yeah.
No, the sheet's not connected to the tokens.
Okay, I won't worry about it on the sheet.
Set up the sheet to do that.
Yeah, that's okay. I'll just do it on the sheet then instead.
Yeah, that's
on the token.
That's not my fault, I think, Arlen. I think I can.
Well, I think you can connect it, but it won't connect nicely like the way that the 5e sheet does or something like that, because you have to set up the sheet side to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just do it on the token. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right. So then, one arrow sinks into this thing. Do you have anything else you wish to do? And if you want to see, these are the other things you can do with your clash points.
I'm going to also retrieve my flint and steel or flint and tinder from my backpack and get it at the ready.
Sure. Like, do you mean like have it at your feet, or do you mean have it in your hands?
Yeah, like, oh well, maybe I've got it in a pouch, and so I take the pouch out of my backpack and like take the leather strap, and I've got it wrapped around my wrist.
Okay.
In case I need it.
You got it. Okay.
So then that puts me to 1.
So then it is. Let's see here. Yeah, so you take one more point to do that. Is it 1 or 2?
It takes 2, actually.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so you get that out, and you still got 1 left. All right, then, Gerard, you're up. What are you doing?
I think I am...
So if you're 10 yards away from Kamal, then you're 30 yards away from this thing.
Yeah, so seems like... I guess I should ask, do the opponents have clash points that they can use?
They do. Yep.
Yeah, so... My range just sucks though, so I think the best thing to do is for me to kind of hunker down where I am and ready an attack, and I guess that's just save a clash point to spend.
At its fastest, what I can tell you, because you've seen this thing, you've been running away from this thing since you've discovered that you were in its cave, and unfortunately it's late in the day. Like, what I'm going to say is you guys have, let's say, here's what we're going to do. Sun will set when you guys roll we'll have it an escalating amount. We'll start with a D10. To start with, this round on a roll of 1, the sun will set. And then next round it'll be a roll of 2, it'll set. On a roll of 3, it'll set. The reason that matters because this is just also the benefit you'll get from your metal loss. Under the light of the sun, this thing will not regenerate. Okay, so and if only you hadn't decided to wait to the last minute of the day to find a cave to sleep in here. I think you guys can probably each have a fate point, because that seems like a bunch of bullshit that your DM is pulling on you. All right.
All right. I will take the fate point. I think kind of counterintuitively.
Sorry, Arlen. I think before I launch into that fucking thing about the sun and whatnot, what I was going to say is that you've seen this thing at its fastest, at its absolute fastest. It's only barely faster than you.
Yeah.
Like when it was it will not be able to cover the distance between you and it this round.
Yeah. But I could move up in order to be ready, be closer to it, so that it'll cover the distance and will clash.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And if the sun's going down, that might be useful to do now before it starts regenerating too much. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to advance up another 13 yards. So I'm 23 yards from Kamal now.
Okay. I fill up your valor bar for you.
Yeah, so I'm 23 yards from Kamal now, and I'm kind of, smacking my spear against my shield and shouting obscenities at this thing. And
love it. Ready
to stab it.
Okay. All right, so this thing, then on its turn, this is round 1. All right, let's see here. So it will come lumbering forward as well, too, on those thick, elephantine feet. It's almost comical. If it wasn't for that disgusting tooth-filled maw, it would be comical the way this thing kind of wobbles back and forth. But that vicious tree that's been set through with a bunch of swords and weapons and such from bronze weapons from fallen foes, that takes away the comical aspect of it. Its tiny beady eyes are trained on you, Gerard, and it spends its entire round lumbering towards you. You moved, you're 20 away from him. That means he is going to be able to move 16. That puts him at 24. He is 4 yards away from you, Gerard. He's about to come down on you.
Smell his horrible breath.
Disgusting. Okay, I think that's the end of the round. Now, I'm trying to remember if we roll initiative each round. I don't remember. I don't want to say I think you do or think you don't. I just can't remember. I think you don't, because it gives you the order of, what do you call it? The different steps you take in combat. Combat is very clearly explained in the combat chapter as well, too, which is quite nice. Wait, set valor points. Yep. So morale is also a identified step in the combat in this, which is pretty cool. All right, then combat rounds. So one of you guys is going first. Who wants to go first?
Come on, you want to shoot him again before I get up close?
So my points go back to 5, right?
Before we do that, guys, end of the round. Who wants to roll for the sun going down?
Let's go back and forth.
Okay.
Yeah, you want me to do this one?
Sure, you do the easy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it comes. Nice.
Nice.
Sun is up still. Round 2. So he doesn't regenerate any health this turn. Kamal, what are you doing?
We go back to 5 clash points, correct?
Absolutely, yep. First thing you do at the start of your round is you get all your clash points back.
Yep, so I'm going to roll my ranged combat.
Oh, put a tick next to your ranged combat as well, too. You use it successfully.
Oh, sure.
Yep.
Ranged.
Oh, it's actually on the character sheet. Arlen has put that in there.
Oh. Oh, you check it if... Oh, I see this one here. Okay, I got it. Cool. Is there a penalty in my range combat if my ally is in melee with this thing?
I don't think so. Let me double check.
I mean, it might be negated because the thing is so freaking huge anyway.
Well, and a critical fail, that might be when you might hit an ally, but let me double check here. What does it say rules is written?
Okay, well, I'll roll while you look that up.
Yeah, sounds good.
Ah!
Oh.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So do I always roll the extra d10 and it makes me have misses more often?
You can, the only thing you could get out of that is a critical fail if you happen to roll an A.
Right,
and, you choose which one you want to use.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see.
Okay, I'm going to use 2 of my points then.
And one thing I want to mention, Arlen, take a look on page 66 of the rulebook, 6.6. There's the fighting styles in melee.
Okay.
I'm going to spend 2 of my points. I'm going to retrieve a torch.
You can spend a fate point to re-roll that if you want as well.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that because this is a freaking tense combat. And this
is a dangerous adversary.
Very dangerous.
Okay, let's see here.
And I have a pretty good chance. Oh my goodness. But I retrieve a torch from my backpack.
I don't see anything about firing penalties for firing into melee, so don't worry about that.
Okay. Yep. I retrieve a torch from my backpack and I stick it in the dirt between my feet, like the stick end, so that it's sitting up in front of me. Yeah.
You're getting yourself. That's so great. Okay, so then I guess 2 points to do that. Now you could also spend. You didn't succeed, did you?
No, I didn't succeed.
Okay.
So I.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So is that it for you then, Kamal?
That is it. Yep.
So Gerard, you are 4 yards away from this approaching thing.
I'm gonna advance to meet it.
Yeah. So you come up to a little above, actually about like sort of the apex of its swollen gray belly.
Yep.
All right. So as you run in, what do you do?
I'm gonna stab it if possible, while also avoiding getting smacked by its big club.
So here's the benefit. It has not had an action yet. It does not have any clash points left because it came running in. So this is just your attack.
Awesome. So I will do melee combat. That's good.
Success. Go ahead and roll damage. Is there any clash points you want to spend? Oh.
That's terrible. I can spend the clash point for extra damage.
Yep.
Which will add another d6, and then let's see what the d6 is. So, and I might roll.
There is something else. One of the things it mentions in the with the use of fate points. This is something I think that would only become evident as you become more familiar with the game as well. But I mean, I'm talking with all of us. Because I thought I read that there is actually a melee talent that is piercing thrust. Oh, it's when you're using a spear. Because there's things you could do. What are you using, a spear?
Mm-hmm.
So you could use spend a fate point to get use of piercing thrust. You ignore 2 points of protection.
I think my fate point right now is better spent re-rolling all my damage because I only got an 11 on 2d6 and a d10.
Yep. Okay, so go ahead and re-roll.
This is all factoring in the extra damage from my clash points.
Okay.
And I get a 12.
12 points. 12 is total?
12 total.
12 total, okay.
And that cost me my 2 clash points.
All right. Did you use an improved action?
Yeah. That was my... I did the extra d6 of damage with the stab.
Okay. Awesome. Okay, so then, guys, it is this thing, the Gatakan's turn. And to get us familiar with the name here. There you go. Okay, so one of the neat things with the game as well is that it has, you don't have to use it, but there's a neat option for combat range where you can randomly determine what the action it uses to give the thing some variety and some special attacks. And it's similar to what some of Kevin Crawford's games do, where it's the, like in Godbound, they do that. So let's see what this thing's going to do. It gets its clash points back, and I think it's going to want to try and be defensive. All right, and I rolled... just to let you guys know behind the scene. So the effect I rolled is too dumb to move. The Gatakan grows confused and sits down, glaring at those around it. So you stab it with the spear, Garrod, and it kind of and thwump sits down on the ground, not attacking you. Guys, give us a Jeffrey, it's your turn. D10 roll. We're on round 2, so a 2 or a 1, the sun goes down.
Yes!
Sun's still up. All right, so he does not regenerate. Guys, top of the round. Who would like to go first? Garad or Kamal?
We can keep going in our
Yeah,
order.
let's just keep doing like we've been doing.
Okay, so then Kamal, you get your clash points back.
And here we go.
Okay.
Fire.
Oh,
Yes.
good hit. Yep, solid.
And I'll roll my d10 to see if I can roll a 2.
Yep.
Nope.
Okay.
But it's a hit.
Yep. Go ahead and
I
roll.
will spend 2 points for an overdraw.
Okay. Go ahead and roll damage.
Roll 3d6.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. 13. Okay.
And
You hit this thing again. It seems to have stirred it again. It hits the ground, and you can feel like all the stones around you, Gerard, are trembling as that massive log comes down. Kamal, anything else?
yeah, I'm gonna spend 2 points again. I'm gonna treat it as the same as like drawing something from his backpack as he takes his flint out of the little pouch and he puts it in his hand that's holding his bow, sort of pinched in his finger.
Love it. All right, Garad, what are you doing? All right, so you get clash points back.
I am stabbing.
Okay.
So
Whoa,
doing that.
Good roll. Okay. So you should have a tick next to your melee combat as well too.
Yeah, I will tick off melee combat.
Okay.
And then I'm going to spend my clash points for extra damage.
Yep.
And do, another 12.
Another 12.
All
nice. Let's see if that causes it to stir. All right. So then it's its turn. Let's see what it does. Oh, interesting. So the combat range is actually the range of its combat skill. So you don't need to make 2 separate rolls. You don't roll to see what it does and then roll to see what the effect is. I just roll and see if I'm successful.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's really clever. So it's just one thing. So this is this thing. It jumps up and smashes into you. So do you wish to turn this into a clash?
Yeah, I'm gonna spend my clash point to turn it into a clash.
Okay. I rolled 66-0 on the nose. So
6-0 on the nose.
Go ahead and make
All
your roll.
right.
So how does this work?
So
I have to roll higher and still successful, right?
yes, that's right.
If I get a critical, like an 11, is that better?
Critical
Also?
trumps, yes, definitely. Critical trumps a success.
No.
Okay.
These fake points burning a hole in my pocket. It
You
seems like a good time.
Do it.
Yeah. Oh, so close.
Jeez.
So close.
Okay, so unfortunately, this thing leaps up, smashes into you, trampling you beneath its feet. And I'm gonna roll. I'll roll damage in chat. Boy. Oh, thank God I rolled terrible. 16 points, but this comes from your valor, though. Remember, not from your wounds. So
yeah, my valor, and I've got 3 protections, so that is 13 points.
Yep. So it's only 13 you take. Yeah. Then it has one more attack. It's going to try and trample you again.
All right, I'm going to do the same thing.
Spin it into it, okay?
Yep.
All right, so you're battered and beaten. This time I rolled a 12.
A 12, all right.
Come on. Oh! Wait. All right, 14 is enough. That is a higher number than 12. So what do we see as this thing tries to stomp on you again, and you respond with your spear?
So I think he didn't quite like fully get me under. He kind of kicked at me almost more, and then he tries to go with the other foot, and I kind of catch it on the shield and get him sort of like jab at him behind the knee or something.
Yep, go ahead and roll damage. And you don't get to spend clash points on this.
Yep, but I rolled a 12 anyway.
Still, holy shit, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, because I got high strength and a D10 weapon.
Does a spear do 1d10
spear
one-handed? That's amazing. Spears are awesome in this.
Yeah, it's hoplite style.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, you get it, and it staggers back. The howl echoes up and down this gorge. Then, Arlen. It is round 3. Would you kindly see if the sun goes down? Keeping it interesting. You spare a look back through the slits in your helmet. The sun is still, it's little like waning trickles of light coming over the high hills around you. You are soon to be swathed in darkness. Next round, guys, round 4. Who is going to go first, Kamal or Gerard?
I guess Kamal.
Okay, did you get your clash points back?
Yep. This time, so now, I don't know if you want me to spend clash points on this, but the action he's going to take is before he knocks his arrow, he's going to use the steel head of the arrow on the flint that's in his hand and light his torch and then knock his arrow. So, like, that's why he put it in his hand.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Like,
give me a survival roll for that, please.
Okay.
I think, yeah, it'll be 2 clash points to do that.
Oh, come on!
You want to spend a fate point?
Oh, roll 20? No, he'll just try it next round.
Okay, so this flash of sparks, and then go ahead and make... So you're down to 3 clash points.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
he will fire that arrow.
Oh.
Holy crap!
You want to clash point that?
A fate point?
Fate point, yeah, sorry, not flash.
Yeah, okay, let's do it.
Okay.
We want to try and get this thing injured before...
Yeah, sun goes down.
Come on. That's like 380s I've rolled on this thing. There
29.
we go.
But roll your extra 10.
Yep.
Come on.
Come on, 2.
Oh. Okay. So then go ahead and roll damage.
I'm going to spend the fate point to get the 2 points to do the extra...
clash points, yeah. Do the
nice.
overdraw, okay.
Clash point, yeah.
Go ahead and roll damage.
3d6, come on, 18.
Ooh.
Oh.
Fuck.
We're hitting them in 12s every time.
Yeah, and you're slowly picking away at this thing. Then it is Gerard. You get all your clash points back. What are you doing, Gerard?
I am going to try to stab this thing.
Okay.
Is there any kind of like a targeted attack or something like that?
Not really. It's sort of unless you're spending fate points to get access to talents. It's really kind of a just a luck of the attack kind of thing.
Okay. No, that's fine. I was just wondering if there was a way that I could, like, specifically stab at his foot so he wouldn't step on me again or something like that.
Yeah.
Although I don't really want him to use the club, so I guess trade off. All right. Melee combat attack.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Critical hit.
Oh, it's a crit. Yes.
Critical hit.
So I can
max
spend
damage.
the clash points for an extra d6, right? And
Yep.
get full on max damage.
Sure. Yep.
So that is 22 points of damage.
Holy shit. 22. So let me think here. All
So
right.
that's what the crit allowed?
Yeah, crit is max damage.
And I get a fate point too, right? For the crit
Yes.
in combat?
Yep, you get a fate point
Yeah.
back. Okay.
Nice.
Actually, I think that's it. All right. Okay, so then, okay, so that's it for your turn, yeah?
Yep.
So let's see what this thing. So this thing is going to attack you. Do you want to spend it, turn it into a clash?
I do.
Okay. So spend your
-1.
point. I actually failed.
All right.
Actually, I critical failed for that matter. So let's see what that does. And you succeeded. Because I just rolled 88.
Ooh.
Yes.
I think that's I inflict maximum damage again.
I think that
On
sounds...
page 67?
Yes. So I rolled a fumble and success. Yeah, inflict maximum damage. So what's that?
All right. So that's
16?
another 16.
Oh, jeez. All right. So then, yeah. This thing once again tries to swing that or stomp on you, and again you get it right in the like the side of the leg. It screams out and staggers back. Now, guys, I think that was it. I missed, so I'm out of actions. I do still have 2 clash points left though, because I didn't get a chance to spend them. So then it is end of the round. Jeffrey. You want a 5 or higher to have the sun still up.
Come on. Yes.
Nice. We're on to round 5. Who'd like to go first, Kamal or Gerard?
Kamal will go again.
Okay. So if you're try and light again, give us a survival check.
Come on. Bitch.
Oh, you could spend... Oh, hold on. Remember your traits as well. Once per session, you can, if your trait makes sense to apply, your cultural trait, you can turn a fail into a success into a critical. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't really.
Like, are you
Grave
gonna call
countenance?
You call on the gods? You know, maybe there's the god of the sun or something like that. You're praying to help you, and then that could turn that fail into a success, and the fire sparks.
Yeah, I mean, I could say, the one that makes a little sense, I guess, is Born Under Kwama. I mean, it's related to...
Okay.
No, it's the virtue, not the trait.
Yeah, not the trait, sorry, the virtue.
My virtue. Follower of the six, right? So I can, like, call on my god, basically.
Yep.
Right, so, like, if I knew them better, like, maybe one of the 8 is, like, the god of fire or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Right. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
And turn that into a success. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So we hear you call out in Garwa, and then you got a fire at your feet now.
Yeah, he calls out sort of the name as he strikes it, and it's like just makes it. One little spark lands, and it's enough.
Yep.
The torch is now burning between his feet.
Okay.
We will fire that arrow.
Go ahead.
Maybe that's a lucky arrow now.
That's a hit. Now I'm not... Ooh. Sorry, I was going to say if I... No, I think he's going to let you shoot him. He's going to definitely turn Gerard's thing into a kalash. A clash, not a kalash.
So wait, I roll my other D10. I have to roll a 0? Is this how this works?
You really can't crit on this one. If you rolled a 0, that's 100, which is a fail.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Right,
if you roll, in the game, if you roll 91 to 100, it's always a fail, regardless of what your skill is.
Right.
So, go ahead and roll damage. And you spend your clash points if you want to do the overdraw again.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I might as well do that. So, 1 left and 3d6.
Yes. Holy smokes! All right. Now, what I was going to do at the start, I forgot. Morale. You've hurt this thing quite a bit. So I get to roll its defense. Its defenses are very high, so yeah, no, morale's not broken. Even though you've hurt it quite badly. Okay, so Kamel, with another Gerwa arrow sticking out of this thing's hide. Gerard, you're up next. All your clash points come back?
My clash points are back. I am going to try to fight it. It's probably going to try to fight me now that it has clash points to save. So
definitely. So let's see here. I rolled an 18. Oh!
I rolled an 18 also.
Jeez. Hold on here. I think Ty goes to the higher skill. I've got a 60, you got an 85. But let me just double check that. I'll look it up once and we don't need to look it up again. All right. Let's see here. Highest roll. I wonder if you damage each other then. If characters with the same number roll to hit, the character with the highest skill rating wins. So you win.
Nice.
So you can picture that this thing's about to bring this massive thing down on you, and you get in first and deep to the side. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right, I'm going to spend my clash points to do extra damage.
Yep.
So 1d10 plus 2d6. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
That is...
Down, we're wearing them down.
We got him on the ropes.
Okay. Then it is its turn. It is going to... do you want to clash?
Yep.
Okay. I rolled a 5. I'm rolling the same 0 over and over again. Go ahead and roll.
Oh, man.
38,
nice.
You win. Go ahead and roll. Oh, jeez. All right. Then it is the end of the round. I think it's back to Arlen. Arlen, would you kindly roll a 6 or higher? Oh! The sun goes down! Let me see where this thing, at the start of each round, that's when it regenerates. So, Arlen, would you roll, since you were the one to thank for the sun going down? I guess at Kamal, you call out to the goddess, the god or goddess of the fire or sun or whatnot. It lights up, ha ha ha, and then a shadow goes over you. Fuck you. Then, would you give me a 3d6 roll, please?
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse, most definitely. You begin to see its disgusting flesh is starting to knit back together. Okay. Then it is... Oh, and one last thing. I think you may have already clued to this, Kamal. The Gadakans cannot regenerate from fire damage.
That's sort of what I was hoping and why I was lighting my torch.
Love it. Okay, so then either Garad or Kamal is up first. Who wants to go?
Kamal will go.
Yep.
So he gets his fate points back.
Clash points.
Or clash points, sorry. That's what I meant. He fires his arrow.
There we go. Roll your second dice.
Come on, 4. Come on, 4.
Yes!
Yeah!
Yes! So you get a fate point back.
Sweet.
So you got 2 fate points, and then what is your max damage? It's 12 with the bow, right? And then plus another d6 if you're doing overdraw. So 18 points of damage?
Yes. So if I spend 2 on overdraw, it is 18.
Look at this. Look at that. All
and then
right.
I can still move, right?
Yeah, you can always move, equal to your move, and you can also spend 2 clash points to move an extra amount equal to your move. You are...
no, but I'm going to use one of my clash points to pick up my torch.
Okay.
And I'm going to close the distance.
What is your move? Again, 15?
15, yeah.
15, okay, so you are 9 yards away from them right now. If you want to spend 2 other clash points, you could be in melee with it.
Yeah. I'm gonna move right up on it.
Okay, so you're at 0.
I'll spend my last. That's a little dangerous.
Yeah.
No, I won't do that. I'll,
Could he move up to like right behind Gerard?
Of course,
to be like ready to move into melee next round.
Yeah, like sort of standing behind him with the torch.
Yeah, you could even, for free, you could call out the knowledge that you have about these things.
Yeah. We'll have to burn it! And then he'll run up with the torch.
Okay. All right. Then, Gerard, your clash points refresh. What are you doing?
All right. Clash points back up. Going to do my best to stab this thing.
Okay. Oh! You want to spend a fate point?
I do want to spend a fate point.
Okay.
All right. 17.
Oh, and I will spend a point to make this clash too. Sorry, I forgot.
Yep.
My clash points back. Let's see what I roll. 28.
Uh-oh.
So.
You could re-roll.
I already re-rolled one.
Oh, that was your re-roll.
Yeah, you want to spend 1 fate point per round, I think.
Sorry. I missed that.
Oh, shit. How close is Kamal right now?
He's like behind Gerard.
Fuck. So here's the result. Trample. The Gadakan lowers its head and plows ahead for 10 yards. While moving in a roughly straight line, it runs roughshod over all who stand in its way. A dodge check is allowed. A dodge check allows a target to jump out of the way. So this was a clash for you, Gerard, so you can't. But Kamal, you have no clash points left to do a reaction. So unfortunately, you guys are both getting hit by this. So each target takes. Here we go, guys. And this is to your valor, not to your wounds. So to Gerard, 27 damage.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
So that gives me
minus
1 wound.
Minus 3.
Oh, right, -3. So I have 2 valor left.
2 valor left. Holy shit. And then, so against Kamal, 15. So you take 15 points from your Valor, from your blue bar.
And I get 2 defense from my leather armor. Is that right?
Yes. So subtract 2 from your leather armor, so you got 13 points of damage to your Valor. All right. So then that was boom, 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 boom. It is now 10 yards away. So that you thought you had this thing. Then it is this thing's turn. So if we picture it having moved in a straight line, it now turns, and Kamal, you are the closest target. But let's see. Now, do you want to turn this? Or you have no clash points left.
Yeah, no, I can't do anything.
It liked the way that worked. It lowers its head and does the exact same thing. Now, you can't do any defenses. Gerard, you didn't spend any of your clash points yet, right?
I haven't spent any of my clash points. I'm wondering, is there any way that I could like spend extra clash points to like react to step in front of Kamal to turn it into a clash?
I think if you spend a fate point, there is a melee talent that lets you do that. Interpose. So if you spend a fate point, you get to get the interpose talent, spend a clash point to react, and attempt to take a blow for another character within 3 yards. It costs you 2 clash points to do that, and then you're treated as if you're the target instead of Kamal. So you could make a dodge check to try and get out of the way altogether, or you could make an opposed melee combat check.
Yeah, so that's what I want to do. I'm going to spend my one fate point.
Yep.
Be down to 1, and then spend 2 clash points.
Yep.
Down to 3 clash points, so that I am turning it into a clash, so that I can try to stab him as he charges.
So you get hammered by this thing. You see Kamal gets battered to the side. It turns. It wheels around on its massive thing and is about to come going, back again.
Oh.
You race forward and hit him with your shoulder, getting out of the way. You need to beat my 32.
Oh.
You want to spend a fate point to re-roll?
Yeah.
Or your virtue. Is there any way your virtue will trigger here? It's a search of knowledge, isn't it?
It is a search of knowledge.
Yeah,
so probably not virtue. So I'm going to spend my last fate point and go for a reroll. And roll 20 as usual. Okay. Eats my reroll.
Only 12 points of damage. So
all right.
10
so
after. Oh, so you're into your second row of wounds now.
And -8.
Okay. This thing finally actually draws blood. And it wheels around again. All right, guys. That is... We don't need to roll for the sun going down because we know it's down. So that's on a 6 now. Jeffrey, would you kind of give me a 3d6 roll? Let's see how many wounds this thing regenerates. 13. Okay, I am going to make, because it's below half health, I am going to make a morale check for it. I pass its morale. So then, it is one of you two guys. Who wants to go first?
I guess I might as well continue to...
Okay, what do you want to do?
First. So now it's back the other way. Like, am I in melee with it, or am I in, like, can I fire my bow?
You could move. You could fire your bow. You're not engaged with it. It's probably about where it started. So it's back in, almost engaged, a little bit past, maybe 2 yards past where Gerard is.
Yeah. So like now I'm like right down below, and I'm gonna draw my bow and try to fire up into its bulbous throat.
Please do.
Come on, big money.
Give your D10 roll.
Okay, come on, 3. No.
That is still a hit. Go ahead and roll damage. It's not going to try and dodge.
I'm going to do my overdraw.
Okay.
Counteracts his healing.
Okay. Fuck. All right. And then, let's see if there's... Hold on, Jeff. I want to see if there is a talent. You got a couple fate points back, just to, as we're taking the system out for a spin here. I wonder if there's a talent with archery that you could trigger with your thing that would give you a piercing, like that. What do you call it? Like the melee one does. Disarming shot, far shot.
Oh, I see. So you can use a fate point to like invoke a talent.
Yeah, a talent that you don't have. Piercing shot would give ignore 2 points of protection.
Okay, I see. Cool.
Yeah, and then otherwise, I mean, the other ones don't really seem to be like skillful shot, quick reflexes, stuff like that. Did you?
No.
Basically, it would mean 2 more points of damage on it. What do you think? Is that worth a fate point?
No, I think that we'll wait and see what happens.
Okay. Then it is Gerard. So you can taste a coppery taste or flavor in your mouth from that last hit, and you think something's come loose in your chest. Your clash points come back though. What are you doing?
All right, it's do or die time. I think I gotta try to finish this thing off before it regenerates back up further. So I'm gonna rush in and clash with it.
Okay, it will turn it into a clash. Let's see here. I rolled a 61. I failed by 1.
I rolled 81. And
81.
Succeeded.
That is most definitely a hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
All right, spending my clash points for an extra d6 of damage. Yeah.
16. If you spend... Oh, you got no fate points left.
I got no fate points.
Shit. Because look at this.
Oh,
So close. Oh my god. So this thing's almost down. Then it is...
well, let's see what it does, because I mean these are clashes when it attacks.
That's
so.
right.
So
Yep,
when
it
it
absolutely
attacks,
is.
I might be able to.
So this turns, and let me see here. So if you can turn into a clash, go ahead and roll. Oh, you know what? It stops, looks back at you, and it's decided this is not fun anymore. It's too dumb to move. It sits down again and glares at you.
No, man.
No, but you did turn us into a clash, so go ahead.
Yep.
Spend your clash point, and then go ahead and make your attack roll.
Oh no!
Oh!
Now, you can't spend a fate point. Oh, you don't have fate points!
I don't have
Doesn't have any fate points, but it's also a crit failure.
It's a fumble, yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's see here. Okay. So he failed and you fumbled. Neither wins. Let's see here. Yeah, just there's nothing negative that comes from the fumble. It's only when they get a success. So yeah, and it's not like they're. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then it is. Oh, jeez. Oh, you didn't succeed. As I say, you could make your second attack. With the improved action. But power attack. Oh, there's no rapid fire.
I can't do another.
Yeah, shoot.
So
All right.
I think it just regenerates and we do another round.
Yeah, so it's. Oh yeah, you clashed against it, right? So.
Yep.
Yeah. So top of the round. Whose turn is it to roll? Arlen, I think it's you now. Go ahead and roll 3d6. Come on, roll low. It's not bad. Not bad. All right. Once again, its wounds are stitching up. Which of you wishes to go first?
I can fire again.
Okay.
Alright, here we go.
Come on. 17. Give us a d10 roll.
Come on, 1.
Yes! All right.
Sweet.
So, Jeffrey, what's your max damage is what? 18.
So if I spend if I spend 2 points, it's 18.
Okay, so this thing sits down and looks, and Gerard, you can see he's definitely hurt from the way he's wheezing and moving. You line up a careful shot, and what does it look like as this thing goes down?
I think I line one up and sort of right through his heavy breathing mouth and fire one up into the roof of his mouth.
He does that cave troll thing.
Yeah.
And falls back dead. All right. So with the torch in hand, what do you do next?
So Gerard doesn't quite crumple, but he kind of takes a knee basically, and he's feeling his side, trying to feel if his ribs are broken from where he got real hit. And he kind of looks back and gives Kamal a nod and says, "That was a little closer than I'd like."
Okay, now hold on.
Well, Kamal is
we got to do one thing, guys.
Attempting to burn this thing.
There's one thing we need to do. So you jump over and do that. Then we need to do the aftermath. So we go through. We roll a D100 and we add some modifiers in. Damage was inflicted by a particularly brutal enemy is 10, and filled in one or more wounds on the second row is 10. Other than that, none of these other modifiers apply. So Arlen, give us a D100 plus 20. $87. Major scarring. -1 to metal permanently. The old wound bothers the character for the rest of their lives.
Whoa.
Oof.
Nasty.
You each get a fate point back as well, too, for defeating the Gadakan, because that's a tough adversary in these circumstances. So what do you think that wound is?
I think it's just that. It's a broken rib that isn't going to heal quite right. You know, it's something that he's going to, or maybe it's even punctured a lung or something at this point, and it's going to take a while for him to, you know, he's never going to quite have his wind back the way that he had before.
So that means if your metal goes down by 1, your max valor is now 36.
Yep. And it's not even going to be that if we get into a fight soon, because I'm down to only, you know, 1 wound row full.
Yeah, so your metal is what, a 30?
I'll have 24.
What's your metal?
Oh, my metal is now a 12.
12, okay. Yeah, so 12, you have 24. Yeah, 24.
Yeah. So does mine go back to 11 now?
Yeah, if you get a chance to well, here, what it is that, no, your metal stays down. Metal is only recovered, let me double check this, but I think you only gain metal back when you're in a bastion of law. So that's like a town or whatnot. You can't gain metal back. All right, guys. So, holy smokes, what the heck was that? Hold on, let me just check here. Here's one upside to this. You know, yes, Gerard looks at you, Kamal, grins, and blood is sort of, you know, staining his teeth. He's like, cave's empty now.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I mean, it's nightfall, and so.
Well, the reason I mention that, guys, is because the Gadakan has treasure. They're stupid and hungry, but you may be able to find treasure in there. Now, remember, you made a successful survival, so make a tick next to your survival. I'm not sure if there's any other skills you guys used, but let's do this. Let me just get to the treasure thing here. Let's see what you find in there. All right. Treasure.
And invoking your virtue is once per session or once per scene?
Once per session.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, let's see here. Who's feeling particularly lucky?
Sure.
Giving a percentile roll, please. There we go.
81.
81. Okay, so no. And then give me a D6 roll, please, Jeff.
D6.
Okay. So what you find in its cave, apart from just like the disgusting remains of its many, many meals it's pulled out, you know, from the things that have been unfortunate enough to lurk in these hills, you find a kind of a very crude and a little bit damaged copper statue. And this thing is worth 5 copper shekels. So
5 copper shekel statue.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So then, Gerard, do you wish to make use of your Akalana resin?
I think so.
Okay.
I think that makes sense.
Because you'd need to rest. I mean, you guys could rest for the full day, for the full next day if you like. As well.
Well, what's healing like if you rest versus...
So you need to rest the full day, though. You need to take a day to do nothing.
But what do I get for that?
Oh, sorry. If you make a successful healing roll, it's 1d4 plus 3. If you make just a success... if you don't make a successful and you just rest, it's 1d4 plus 3. If you are just resting, it's 1d4.
And I can help with that with my healing, or do I need a healing kit?
If you have, yeah. So the way helping works in this is basically if I think that someone helping someone else could actually benefit the chances of success, you just get plus 10% to your skill.
Okay, cool. I don't have to roll for that bonus. I can just help him.
You can just help him, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, yeah. Let's do that. Let's take a day to rest.
Okay. Did I mention there's random encounter rolls in this? Yeah. Let's see.
Whoa.
Okay, let me make the roll. There we go. Is that ever neat? Okay, so I'm actually going to roll percentile for it. Let's see. I think there's... Yeah, okay. So, next day, you guys are going to just kind of keep watch and maybe hunt or something like that? While
Gerard... send Kamal out to hunt.
Sure, so Gerard... No, hold on. Let me see if you can use healing on yourself. I think you can. But let's see what rules as written are. Healing. Anyone can use healing on themselves except for Arlen. It says it right here. I don't know what...
Man.
Requires... the use of healing requires suitable medical equipment such as bandages or salves or the appropriate improvised alternatives. Each use of the healing skill generally takes a couple minutes to perform. Healer and patient must remain stationary and may not use... So the way that it is phrased, it makes me think you can't do it on yourself, but Kamal has healing as well, and your benefit could give plus 10% to him.
Okay. So yeah, I will help direct Kamal to what hurts so that he can...
Yep. So Kamal...
Okay. So I roll healing.
Yes, please. And you treat your skill as 10% higher.
Okay, I got a 50, so here we go, coin toss. Oh my god, you're dead!
Do you wish to...
No, not there!
Do you wish to spend a fate point to reroll that?
Yeah, let's do that. That seems a little harsh to do that to Arlen. Oh my god, that's funny.
Jesus. Here we go.
Okay, and try again. Oh, I'm still not very good at it.
You don't hurt him, though, so that's good.
You're not dead.
You're not dead. So then you're going to gain, from a night's rest, 1d4 health back. And Kamal, you're sort of keeping an eye out from the cave. Go ahead.
Oh, man.
It's a bad wound, and less than optimal conditions, I guess. So you guys have had... I don't think it's more than half. Give us a d6 roll. Let's see how many days out from... So you guys have, 2 weeks of rations? Each?
Yeah.
Yeah, so see how many...
So roll a d6
yeah, just one d6. Ugh. Okay, so you're down to 8 days of... It was 8 days of rations when we picked up the thing here. You've used one more. You have 7 days of rations left. What do you guys want to do? Carry on, or...
I think we need to start getting moving. Honestly, like we need to get back to civilization, and then I can rest up. Once we're somewhere safer, right? We don't want to be resting up out here.
Yeah, for sure.
I think you were taking this indirect route to get through to this was just a way of avoiding troubles that you've heard up on the war road. You thought this would be faster. I imagine you guys were warned off of this, but which of you guys do you think is the one is like, no, we'll try it? Which of you made the decision to go through this shortcut?
Let's see. Yeah, maybe it was Kamal's idea. Maybe the last I heard, this valley was a safe travel, and that blockage that we ran into was not there the last time.
Yeah.
Maybe I'd been down here before
and told us that it was good, and so we were like, "Oh yeah, we'll be fine."
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Come on. In which case, why don't you give me a lore check, please? I think you're a little better at that than what Gerard is. Critical fail.
Yeah. Jeepers.
Good lord. All right. So then, guys.
Do you only check skills that you use successfully, or any skill that you use meaningfully?
Successfully. Hold on. I think it's successfully because I think you can only learn. Well, hold on. Let's check. Let's double check here.
I was just thinking for Kamal's sake, since he's using these healing and lore things.
Yeah. Let's see here. Running the game. Definitely start with a Gattacan. That's right in the book, guys. So
it's interesting. Like, if you design a game like this, it's you don't ever want to go too complicated, but it's kind of one where, like, if you're trying to frame it on real life, some failures actually are just as good learning experiences as successes.
Yeah.
A success, almost you don't learn anything, right? In some ways, like, I know how to treat your broken rib, right?
Yeah.
I succeed, and it's like, well, I already knew how to do.
Yeah, so
it's like, I don't know how.
The phrasing on it is an advancement roll is only allowed if the skill in question was legitimately used during the session. So it isn't expressly. Let's see if there's if it's referenced in the general section here. For those listening at home too, this is our second time playing the game, so forgive us for...
Well, we're just messing around with it as much as anything, so we're trying to figure out how
I think so. I think I would allow... The lore is just a bullshit off thing, but for the healing, that was a legitimate attempt, so I'll let you put a tick next to that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense real world-wise, too. Like, you know, you're...
Absolutely.
And then the role later is to see, like, did I learn something about helping that kind of injury
by my
failure?
And that's something I really like about this kind of like organic or passive advancement, as they call it, is that, you know, you can have things you can target that you want to try and get better at, but I like the idea that your character, just by doing the things, is getting better at it. That's a cool thing. Okay, so here's something else I need from you guys. We have been traveling for 2 days now. You are traveling through somewhat challenging terrain here. Would you guys each give us so the way we measure travel is you make travel checks, and it's a survival check modified by the difficulty of the terrain. This isn't a mountain where it's 20, hold on, let's see here, where it's minus 50. Or minus 25. I think it's minus 10 because it's hilly. So take your survival skill minus 10 and then give us a roll. So for each of you guys.
I guess if you were to edit this sheet farther, Arlen, you could have it ask for a modifier when you click the roll.
That's what I'm thinking, is that have it prompt for a modifier when you click the button instead of just rolling. Might be a thing to do.
And then trying to figure it out.
But...
So I didn't make it at 10 better.
Okay. So, nice.
I made it.
Arlen did.
Okay.
I modify my number, so that was versus 60 instead of 70, but I rolled a 7. So.
Okay, and then Kamal, do you want to spend a fate point? What'll happen is that you're going to lose... a failure will lose 2 points of metal. You'll take 2 points of metal damage, basically.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
No, I think keeping the fate points for if we get in combat is the correct strategy.
Okay, so your metal...
At least at this point.
Yeah, so this is temporary as opposed to the wound that Gerard has. Okay, guys. So then the next day, you guys start making your way down, and you are coming to the mouth of the... what do you call it? No, sorry. I was trying to get my cursor back. Coming to the mouth of the area. Let me see. Is this the one I want? So this is... it's daytime when you're coming out, guys. Let me move you over to this because I think it's really quite beautiful. And in contrast to the cramped and, ill-weather terrain that you guys were traveling through in where the Gatakan's cave was, you're coming out here, and it's finally into a bit of a pastoral kind of region. This is finally reaching this. Finally, so, the part of the Zaharets that you wanted to go to. You'd heard that there was a small farming community out here, and you'd heard that they've been having trouble. Maybe this is the reason that you went for the shortcut. Is there have been wolves, it's said, preying on the communities on the far side of this, on the north side of these mountains or hills, and folks who were looking to spend good money. Now, it's not just one community, it's a bunch of outlying farms. But from what you can see here, it appears, looking down into the village, that you may have arrived too late. Now, one of the things that I was thinking of is, I was having a hard time picturing what a farm would look like in this, and I found these guys. So these are some... Now, obviously, it's not going to be on the side of a lake, but I think these will give you an idea of, like, for one, how labor-intensive the work is, how many people are there, and the cool kind of irrigation techniques that are set up there to grow to make a desert bloom, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So it's these low houses, but what you can see is that many of the houses there's still a little bit of smoke coming off of them. And there is, I think there are fallen oxen in the field. And you can see one or two bodies strewn, even from this high distance, from up where the valley comes out and leading down. What do you guys wish to do?
Seems like we need to go investigate, right?
Yeah, head down and get a much closer look to see what's going on.
But maybe do so kind of sneaky-like, try to, in case there's still any wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So, guys, let me bring your tokens over. Where are you here? So we can keep track of your fate points and everything as we go. Oh, hold on. First, let me get this to the map layer. Alright, so what I'd like you guys to each do is, would you kindly tell me a little bit about how you're going to approach this place. You can picture that the fields only go out like this. The Zaharets have been under the influence of Barak Barad for centuries. The land itself has responded to the corruption of chaos, meaning that these farmers, not only warriors, the warriors that walk the war road are definitely very tough individuals, but it's a different kind of hardiness and toughness that gets people to bring their families out and to force life out of these corrupted and lifeless lands. So the farm sort of reaches a point where, like, the terrain ends, and then it goes to that wild and brambly, natural growth in the hard rock and such. How do you guys want to approach this? It's uneven terrain leading up. Do you guys approach together? Do you separate? What are you thinking? Do you wish? What are your respective stealth skills anyway? That might help to plan who's.
I mean, my stealth is only a 35, so.
Mine's only a 45, so.
And I mean, maybe we're used. Maybe you do travel a bit ahead of me, and I sort of cover you, since your stealth is slightly better.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, and I also have a bow, so I can sort of have you covered from behind.
Okay.
So maybe we approach 40 or 50 yards apart, kind of thing.
Sure. I'm picturing there's probably about, maybe 4 or 5 different buildings, all collected together around those, the whitewashed clay walls or mud walls, like you see in the left-hand picture there. And why don't Gerard and Kamal, each of you give me a stealth check, please. I'll give you guys plus 10 to this, because there is a fair amount of cover here as well. You know what? I'll give you plus 25 to the skill. Holy smokes.
Didn't even need it.
Didn't even need it. Kamal did.
Yep.
So each of you go ahead and put a tick next to your stealth. So you're able to get down to really up to near one of the, where the main structure is. There still is smoke coming from where someone has set fire. Gerard, as you're getting in closer, do you want to make use... remember, you got that trait for tracking.
Yeah, I think doing some tracking, trying to figure out kind of what happened, Aragorn style, walk over the ground real slow and kind of say, and they went this way and then this way.
Sure, yeah. Why don't you give us a survival check, please?
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Critical success. So you don't even need to roll your extra d10, I guess. Make sure you put a tick next to that. So here's another thing that's interesting about the game that I like. It expressly calls out the idea of one roll per scene. So you roll whatever the result is from that, that's what's happened. You don't fish for further successes or fish for failures. You don't, get penalized because you got a lucky success. It's just whatever you rolled, that's what you rolled. There's two bits of information you get from this. For one, there is definitely, there was a group, you think, of about 10 men. There are, as you guys get closer, you can find a lot of dead men and boys. And you can tell from the tracks that some have been carried off as well. Would you guys each
Slavers,
give me a perception roll as well?
Not good. Oh, nice.
Okay, great. Awesome. So, Kamal, you're the one who hears this first. Both put a tick next to your perception rolls. Kamal, as Gerard is looking down on there too, you stop. There's voices coming from inside the burned out buildings. You can hear people whispering. What do you guys wish to do? What does Kamal do, I guess? He's the one who hears this.
He'll speak out and he'll say, "We've come to help."
Okay. So then you can hear from inside 3 voices. Men. You've come to help, have you? You can help by dropping your weapons.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say,
3 men who have the look of the hard-bitten, the life that of a jackal is not necessarily easy. The life of a wolf trying to survive on what you can kill is more challenging.
Could I spend a fate point to react before we get into combat with these guys?
Yeah, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I'm going to take my health potion so that I'm not down to even less valor.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Go ahead and give us a 1d6 roll.
R1d6.
You apply the alkali resin to your side. 2, nice. Okay.
All right, but that brings me up to getting the full 36 instead of I'm only 24.
Yeah, yeah. What is your metal is what right now, Kamal?
8.
8. 8? 8 times 3 is 16, 24. All right, so your Valor at the start of this encounter is a 24. So these 3 step out. One of them is missing an eye. One of them has a big, full beard that's been braided like Gerwa, like a Gerwa man would. And the other is shiny, has a shiny, bald, and sunburned head exposed. They are wearing crude but effective and likely smelly leather armor. And they are each wielding, what is it, a rough sword. Oh, and they have bows as well, too, and it's likely the bows that they have out right now. So, they all look at you, and what do you guys wish to do?
Kamal will...
Sorry, I just want to point out one thing for Gerard. I don't know if this is what you would want to do, but there is sort of a, like, marking your target feature in here as well. You take your action to do a challenge, and what you do is you make a deception, influence, or perform roll against the opponent's willpower, and if you succeed, it increases the clash point cost of them attacking anybody other than you.
Although there are 3 of them.
There are 3 of them, yeah.
I think I'm going to just try to sort of, I've got my spear and my shield, and I'll probably look a little ragged, but maybe a little intimidating, and I'm just going to sort of look over to Kamal to see what he wants to do, because I think Kamal's the better talker among us when in these sort of situations when he needs to be tough.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think what Kamal does is he's drawn his bow and knocked an arrow and aimed it sort of at the one that's been speaking. And he says, "We just felled a Godicon on our way here. You 3 don't look like any challenge. Surrender now and we'll let you keep your lives."
Okay. Let's see here.
And I have, I don't know, whatever this, like, grave countenance trait.
Oh, yeah, to your bonus. Yeah, I'm just taking a look at...
And I think it says I get to use... If I understand it, I roll influence as for intimidation.
Yes, you do. Yeah, yeah. So go ahead and make an influence. I will oppose it with their willpower.
Okay, so I roll
a
sucker. Oh,
nice.
And it's a crit.
Holy shit. Okay, I failed. All right, so you lower... tell me again, how did you end that? You fell to Gedicon and then what?
Yeah, and I said, you 3 look like nothing in comparison. Surrender now and we'll let you keep your lives.
So they... what I did is I failed with each of them, and then I made a morale check for them. So I think what they've sort of are looking at each other, the guy with the eye patch seems to be the one in charge. Baldy looks over at eye patch. Eye patch looks over at Beardo, and then back at Baldy. And they look, and there's nothing here anyway. Come on. And they're trying to leave.
Now this is where I look at Gerard of, like, do we take them out anyway? I mean, this is why we're here, to take these wolves.
Yeah.
You can see...
And this is difficult for Gerard, right?
Because he's injured.
He's injured, and he's got his whole thing about we're supposed to all be in this together, right? Fighting the Beastmen.
Mm-hmm.
This is different than killing some monster in a cave.
Gerard, would you give me a give me a percentile roll, or a perception check, please. Sorry.
Perception.
Brain was trying to get it out, and it was... So as Beardo is walking past, his cloak kind of frays out in the wind as he steps outside, and you can see poking out of his bag is what looks like a wooden toy of a horse.
So they start walking. Gerard will say, "And whatever you've taken from these people, leave it here."
Nice. You can definitely have a fate point for that. That's causing problems for yourself. So,
yeah.
All right, so they stop, and they turn around. And now Beardo is looking at Eye Patch. Eye Patch is looking at Baldy. It looks like things are about to get dangerous. So, then would you... How does Kamal react knowing that Gerard's like, and one more fucking thing?
Yeah. Well, I wait to see what their reaction is, and
Sure.
if they look like they're not going to listen, I will fire the knocked arrow that I have. Like,
I think it's a matter of like a split-second thing. So your reaction, your initiative result will tell us whether or not you're going to be acting before them. So why don't we do this? Their initiative is an 18. So why don't you each of you guys roll? And remember, even if you don't win, it's as long as you get one slot before, that's when you're going to be able to go. Awesome. Okay. What is your deafness?
15.
Okay, so you'll be acting before them, or at least you have one. So it's a slot before. So you guys, then them, then you guys. Who wants to go first?
Why don't you go first?
Yeah, I think he's ready and he fires that arrow.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh my goodness.
You want to spend a fate point?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That's why I saved them. Come on. Roll 20. Good lord, roll 20.
Oh, so yeah. So it goes a little wild. Then... Oh, hold on. Is there... Where's the improved action? You could spend precise aim plus 5%. Is that enough to get you up to what you need?
No, it's not. 9%.
Could he roll his trait and potentially roll a 0 and thus have a 70?
Oh!
Yes. Oh, yes, he can. Yeah. Of course, yeah.
Right.
Go ahead. Come on.
That is
Come
right.
on, D10. But... No, but what that does, if he spends 2 clash points and does precise aim, that's a hit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So now I spend that to gain the plus 5%.
Yep.
Oh, perfect.
Okay. And these guys are not nearly as tough, and they don't have their shields up as what the Gatakan was. So go ahead and roll damage. You won't be able to spend another improved action, but you get enough. 7 points.
And this is against the leader character.
Yep, okay, against Eye Patch. Eye Patch takes Skate. So he's hit. Then it is their turn. Okay, now, I'm going to do 2 against Gerard and 1 against Kamal. So I'll start with you, Kamal. Do you want to turn this into a clash? You can spend a point to dodge to try and get out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so spend a clash point. I rolled a 38.
Well, I roll my dodge, and I want to roll higher than a 38, but lower than my score.
Correct, yeah. Or you want to roll crit.
No.
15, okay. So 38 is... I take a second shot against you. That's a hit as well. Okay, so you take... let's see here. Is that right? Oh, no. It's less at range. Okay, so here we go. So 2 points of damage, but I think your armor stops, right?
Yeah.
So the first
That's
arrow,
right.
your armor stops it. Second arrow, 3 points of valor.
Which is my 24.
Yeah, so that first one gets 2 shots off on you. And then, Gerard, do you want to turn this into a clash as well?
Yeah, I think so. As long as I start with the clash points at the beginning of the fight.
Absolutely,
right?
yep.
Yeah, so I can spend 2 clash points to do 2 clashes.
You also have...
and I have the spear and shield fighting, which means I can use my melee combat to resist instead of my dodge.
Yeah, and I think... Hold on. I don't think you have to spend an extra point to do that. I just want to check the phrasing on that again. Okay, so weapon and shield. When wielding it, you can spend a clash point to use their melee in place of dodge. Awesome. Yep. When targeted by range attacks. Yeah, so you want to do that? Melee instead?
Yeah, I want to use my melee because it's way better than my dodge.
Okay, so first one is 52.
All right. 82.
Awesome. And then the second one, I actually... 61. I did succeed.
74.
Oh, man.
All right. Then it is Gerard's turn. What are you doing?
All right. I'm going to rush up and try to stab the leader with my spear.
Okay. I do have a clash point, so I'm going to spend it to turn it into a clash.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Whoopsies. Oh, you're going after the leader against Eye Patch again?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Try to finish off the leader. And...
I rolled a 42. Go ahead.
All right.
There we go.
26.
You want to fate point that?
Yep.
Okay.
32.
So not enough, but I'm only doing a bare minimum here. You got 6 points on you. So, but you got your shield, so it's only 3 Fowler.
Yep.
So you get in and try and get him. He pushes to the side and then sort of kicks your shield, knocks you back a little bit. Then, is there anything else you wish to do? Oh, could you have spent... Oh, if an attack hits. Okay. So your sweeping arc is what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So then I think that is the end of round 1. We're on to round 2. Who wants to go first? Gerard or Kamal?
I'll fire, because maybe I can thin these numbers for him.
Okay. So you get all your clash points back.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Come on.
Here we go. Come on.
You're being a jerk. Oh my god, roll 20. I think I've fired like about 10 arrows, and I've missed half or more with a 70.
Do you want to spend a fate point to reroll that?
Yeah, we're almost at the end of this.
Yep. Okay.
Thing here, so
There we
let's
go.
do it. We zero that sucker.
Come on.
Come on, roll 20.
Crit. Yes!
Yes!
Maximum damage. Who are you hitting, Eye Patch or the other guys?
Yeah, let's take out the leader.
Fuck. How does he go down?
I think it just sinks another arrow right through his other eye.
So
his good eye.
You don't need to spend... You don't need to do... 12 points is enough to take him down. You could spend your 2 clash points to make another attack if you like.
Yeah, it's a rapid fire. That makes sense. Yep.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And that one's a hit as well. Go ahead and roll.
Right.
Oh, I could dodge. Hold on, let me try and dodge. You rolled a 51. I didn't. So, he sees you and, it kind of dekes out of the way. 5 points, okay. He takes 3 from that. All right. Then it is the 2 that are left engaged with Gerard. They're going to drop their bows, spending clash points to get their swords out. So do you have any clash points left? So I rolled an 8. Oh, sorry, Gerard, I should have asked you. You want to make this a clash?
I'm clashing with both of them.
Okay. So Beardo first.
Points too.
Yep. Beardo, I rolled an 8.
Oh.
You got no fate points left, I guess.
No 8 points, so I'm taking it on the chin.
Okay. So then, that is... Let's see here. 1d10 damage. Let's see here. I think that's it. Yep. Stop by your armor.
Oh. Yep.
And that sword. And then the other one, if you're going to clash, I rolled a 7.
All right. That's better.
That's better. Yeah. So you hit.
Right.
Go ahead and roll damage. Okay. Now, did you want to spend a clash point to add an extra d6?
I have to spend 2 to add an extra d6.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. So then now it is Gerard's turn. Your clash points were fresh.
Back up to full-on clash points. I am going to attack the one that I just hit, this guy. And if he has anything left, I rolled a 34.
It's a hit. He does not have any clash points left.
All right. 10 points of damage for him.
Baldy is skewered right through. You
Then I could do sweeping arc
to do 5 points of damage to the other guy. Yeah,
and deal 5 points to Beardy. Yeah.
Yeah. So you hit him too. As the end of the round,
stab the first guy, and then kind of with the butt end knock into his buddy.
So I rolled morale for him. He is not running. So then, top of the round, who wants to go first, Gerard or Kamal?
So this might be a time where we could switch up.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
close.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then your clash points refresh.
Yep. Clash points back up to my 5, and then melee combat attack. Oh.
If you could spend 2 clash points to do precise blow.
Yep. Spend 2 to do precise blow to hit.
Okay. So that is a hit. Oh, as he was gonna. No, he doesn't have any clash points left because it's still his turn. Roll damage.
Another 10.
Their 3 bodies join those of the farmers, and there's a spreading pool of blood around all of them. Now, however, before we check out what else is on the farm. Let's see what their treasure is. Let's see here. Who wants to... Why don't we do this? Jeffrey, would you roll 3d100, and Arlen, roll 2d100, please. So 3d100 for Jeff, 2d100 for Arlen. Nice, guys. All right. So that is a total of 174 shekels. And give us a... Let's see here. Maybe give us... why don't you each give us 2d8 rolls, please? Okay. Interesting. Okay, so Gerard, two of the so basically what I was rolling for, guys, is there's what shape is the silver? Silver rarely comes in coins in the Land of Risings. So what you found, that 174 shekels worth of money comes in the form of 2 very valuable amulets, 1 expensive looking ring, and a chunk of raw silver ore.
We need like a party note.
Yeah, really. Hold on, let me give you a party note so you can put that down here.
I'm gonna be lawful stupid right now and say, Kamal, this is taken from the villagers. We must bury it with them.
Well, you don't know what you know from the tracks that you saw. Like, they definitely. This is not all of them.
Yep. And then when we return, we can give it to them.
There you go, guys. Party loot. All right. So, guys, we are very close to ending our session altogether. But let's take the last, 15 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever. First, how many ticks do you guys have on your skills?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, each of you get a fate point back from defeating those, what do you call it, the wolves as well.
Shoot, I have 7.
Okay, so why don't we go through one by one? Who wants to roll one of theirs first?
Well, Jeff should start because he's got more.
Okay.
Sure. Influence.
Okay. Influence. So you passed, so that won't go up. Arlen, you want to roll one?
Yeah, from the top. Perception, no.
Okay, so then once you make your roll, untick the thing and check it again next time. So then, Jeffrey, you're next.
Oh, of course. Now I roll everything under.
Yeah.
I roll 20. You're just a pain in my ass.
Hey, survival.
Hey, survival's going up. Okay, now hold on. Because you already have it at a 70, that means on a fail, it goes up by 3. So your survival's a 73 now.
Nice.
Okay. And then Kamal, you want to roll your next? Survival failed. Nice. Because that's a 50. that means it will go up by 5. Your survival will be 55 now, Kamal.
Nice.
Gerard, what do you want to roll for next?
All right, I'm going to do stealth.
Okay.
Nope.
No, okay. And nice. That also goes up by 5.
Sweet.
And then next.
Melee combat. No.
Ooh. And then Kamal.
Yeah!
Nice! That goes up by 3.
Beautiful.
Now hold on,
That's
hold on.
what I get for missing
Jeff, you
all
want to
those
hear
shots.
some good news too?
Yeah.
Because your trait applies to that, you get to roll the d10. If you roll a 9, it's a crit fail, or a fumble, which means it actually goes up by 6 instead of 3.
Oh.
So roll that d10. Still pretty good. Okay. Arlen, does Gerard have any other ones to roll?
I don't have any other ones to roll.
Okay.
And I have 2 left, so I did healing.
Nice. That goes up by 3. Or no, so by 5. By 5. That's 55 now.
Maybe I can help you next time.
Mhm.
And I did dodge.
Yep. So make your dodge check. Nice. That goes up by
Wow.
3.
Sweet.
Oh, hold on. Dodge is the other one. Don't
Well,
you?
you shot an arrow at me and I dodged, right?
No. But isn't that the one that is your trait?
Oh, that I have another thing for. Yeah.
Yeah. Go give us a read d10.
Oh, right.
Because if you roll 9, that's look at that.
Oh! Oh, yeah.
So that actually goes up by 6. You have a 71 in dodge now.
Nice.
And give me a second here. I want to see what. How many...
I see. So you can actually go over 100 in this game.
Yeah.
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 A 91 to 100 is always a fail. So you've always got
Right. So it doesn't matter if you're over. It just helps when there's penalties.
Exactly. Now hold on here.
Well, and the whole thing about like you could split up your value into multiple attacks.
Yeah.
Right. Take down some of the big guys, or with the squad of guys, take down a couple of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see here. So, guys, I'm also going to give you one active advancement as well. What one active advancement can be used for is... Oh, I think your active advancements... I think you might need to spend those on your downtime. Hold on here. Let me double check.
Oh, I see. So you just keep track of them, and then later you do them when you... Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just double...
That's sort of like leveling. Like...
Yeah, so like the big changes...
Oh, Max just said, I've been trying to decide if I want to pick this up. Thanks for pushing me over the top.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, Max, this is a terrific game. I think it's really... there's a huge amount of terrific material in it. It's a very cool setting. Yeah, what did you guys think? This is the first time Jeff and Arlen, you guys have played it. What did you guys think?
I really like it. I like a lot of aspects of this game. I thought the character creation was excellent. I had a lot of fun going through that with Arlen and you, and it felt like we had some pretty decent fleshed out characters by the end.
Yeah, definitely.
I had a good feel for who my character was, for sure.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. I really like... it feels like it's definitely one of those, like, they do a good job of not doing... Right, the joke about D100 games is the basket weaving skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they definitely avoid that in this game well, which is nice. And it definitely feels, looking at the numbers, I feel like I ought to be pretty good at a lot of things, right? I've got a lot of... If you go from like higher than 50% chance on, I've got a lot of numbers higher than 50 or close to it, which I think is in that field. But also losing one permanent medal on a bad roll after the fight, that's pretty rough. That's a big swing. So I'm interested in seeing how I'd be kind of interested. So one of the things that the Riddle of Steel based games do is they have like a karma system where as you advance your character, your next character gets some special bonuses if your current character dies.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting.
So you can actually, as your character goes up in Kleos, in their, like, it's effectively kind of like, it's a Kleos level, it's their renown and whatnot. There is a rules for retiring characters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was one of the things I was going to ask about, is if there's a system designed for kind of like meta advancement like that.
So if first when you transition, your character transitions from a PC to an NPC, the lore master should allow players to continue playing their characters when new jackals interact with them. Additionally, they can provide the lore master with 1 or 2 plot ideas that their former character might hire jackals to complete. So you weave your characters that retire into that. Second, the player's new jackal starts off with 20% of the retiring jackal's total active advancements, rounding down, which represents the settlement attracting jackals of some renown. And finally, you can dedicate a session to the character's retirement, remembering their great deeds and accomplishments and sending them off in style.
Cool.
Nice. So that would be really cool in play to see like the kind of gradual accumulation of legend with like multiple characters over the course of the game.
Well, and especially like I think like the reason that pushes them into retirement is those things like the cumulative effect of like wounds or things like that, like that you mentioned, that like fuck this thing in my rib. Oh god. Like it doesn't it's nice that there's no death spiral that comes with that. It's because like you're badass Bronze Age heroes, you should be still fighting right up until the end, but the next fight, the toll, the kind of it's like having a walking wounded effect, but not quite as penalizing as what some other games would do, where you get your skills are screwed. It just means that you run the razor's edge of getting injured more likely, I guess.
Well, that was why like I did the potion, the resin thing right before the fight, is because I was worried like, oh man, if I have less valor starting the fight and take a couple of bad hits, could easily be rolling on that permanent loss table again.
So
because
with your bad advancements, you can increase attributes with advancements.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Like, can your attributes ever change?
So your active advancements for 1, you can, if it's a skill that is 10% or less, 100% or less, you increase it by 10. For 1, if it's a skill of 101 or more, it increases by 5. You can spend it to increase to learn a new rite if you're a ritualist. You can spend 2 to increase an attribute by 1 to a maximum of 22.
Wow.
You can spend 3 to get a new trait. And you could spend 3 to gain access to a new magical tradition. And the cool thing is, there's also a separate downtime seasonal mechanic, similar to like Conan's carousing system or the Fellowship phase in One Ring. So there's like a cool level-based thing. It's not like a level where you're getting like hit points and whatnot, but your Kleos, as your Kleos goes up, like what you get is when you have 7 advancements. You could move up to the Kleos level of 2, which means you're able to get a patron of level 1. And that's someone who can feed you gigs and information and stuff like that. Then level 2, patron at the next one. Then you get animosity, which means that the forces of chaos start recognizing you at a tray of 1. But you also get recognition, which means that you get a plus 5% bonus for people dealing with you because of your recognition. So because you're a hero, because you're known, and this keeps going up to the point where you start getting dreams that can be from it depends on your corruption level. If you have fewer, then the visions could be about the growing darkness in the Zaharets as Barak Barad and the forces of chaos begin to sort of return, or it could be them trying to lure you in if you've got chaos, a corruption score, a high corruption score. So as your character gets higher up, there's that other level of sort of interaction that goes on.
Okay, I have one question about healing.
Yep.
So you said if we rest in a lawful place, then our max metal will go back to what it was.
Yes.
Except if you have an injury like Gerard got.
Yes, Gerard's got something that's going to always be affecting his metal. At least it goes down by 1, but he could spend 2 advancements. It says that each adventure you should be getting, depending on the complexity of the adventure, between like 1 and 5 advancements. So figure a minimum of 1 per session, right? If you are getting 5 advancements, you could buy your metal back with 2 of those.
Yeah.
Right? The wound would still be there, and it'd still be kind of a narrative thing, but...
Well, but you wouldn't get, but you would go up the ranks of Cleos without having the skills, right? So your Chaos would start thinking about you, and you wouldn't be quite as effective when you're in your skilled stuff.
It would be a relatively minimal thing.
It would be, but it would be an interesting kind of like, oh, my character got injured a bunch, so I just don't have quite as good because I keep having to buy off these injuries instead of advancing my skills.
And I think it also helps understand the stakes that come with some of them as well too, right? Like this is the first time you guys fought. The Gatakan is a pretty tough opponent, and you guys did really well against that thing, especially with once it started regenerating. I honestly didn't know how that was going to play out, but there's no better way to find out than letting your players just throw themselves at it. So,
and it could have been the tale of how these 2 characters died to this ferocious beast, and it would have been fine
pretty tough too. Like, I mean, it was 2 really lucky rolls on my part and bad rolls on Gerard's part that got yourself when all your valor was gone.
Well, you rolled like 3d10 rod 10s on 2 of them for one of those hits.
Yeah.
So
So like it's just the way it sort of played out. But I like that you've got that big cushion of valor. I don't know. Was there a clash? Hold on. Was one of the clash points to gain any valor back?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so. Because I think there might be one of the one of the talents. What would be interesting is to get to know the talents a little bit better, because that's the stuff you can spend your fate point on and basically cheat, right? You can get stuff you wouldn't otherwise be able to do. And I wonder
and also if you made some money in this game, the higher armors give you quite a bit of protection.
Oh yeah.
We're both just wearing leather, and so a character like Gerard, like we could be pooling our money, and like maybe Kamal's going to spend a part of his fortune, our shared fortune, to upgrade the armor for Gerard or his shield.
Yeah.
Like you can get all the way up to 7.
How much?
Yeah, the heaviest armor plus the best shield would be 7 protection, which if enemies are rolling like a d8, that's
yeah.
Oh yeah.
What is your what you guys have got was 174? Was that right? 174 shekels?
Yeah, 174. So like the next armor up is 1,000.
Yeah,
and these are small. Like the things you guys have faced so far are small potatoes. So yeah, I mean, like when you guys and there's also
let's say we took down those wolves, like the rest of this wolf pack, like that could be a pretty big payout. Like
absolutely. This was 3 of them that just what they happen to have on them too. Never mind what's actually in their control. Like I like that you guys, the characters, they feel like sword and sorcery heroes, but they're also not, invulnerable. Mm-hmm. There's a
totally.
Yeah, it's a really clever way of allowing that kind of, I don't know, like that giving that cushion. So that your valor, sucks up. We can actually roll dice and like see a high range of results for damage and stuff like that without you guys dying automatically.
Mm-hmm. I definitely like the contested clashes, where it really feels like the character with the better melee. It's sort of realistic, right? Like if you got in a sword fight with someone who's way better than you, it's not just like trade blow, and like It's like you might actually get blocked and hurt by trying to attack someone like that.
Absolutely.
Played out really well.
And it's neat having the clash point mechanic be a way of sort of like, as the clever player, you being able to, like, the way you guys swap your places to get in, because you knew, like, he's got no more clash points left. He's already, tried to clash with me on my last attack. He's got nothing left. And, like, in the fiction, he's overextended his defenses, so you know to take advantage of it and take him down because he can't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yep, I love.
And the other thing I would say about the crit, like I love the double numbers, the excitement of it, and especially the little bonus thing with the traits.
Yep.
Like my bow thing there, like that's exciting when you get that extra D10 and try to match the success.
And the I love the virtue. I love the fate points and how they're regenerated. The added extra reward of getting a fate point when you crit. Is awesome. When I read the reason I got so excited to run the game as I read, I'm like, there's so many interesting ideas that all work together. I was worried about them being like too busy with having clash points and fate points and whatever else too. This feels totally manageable.
Absolutely.
And I think the clash points, because you guys are deciding what to do when they're attacking you as well, keeps you invested on the enemy's turn as well. You're getting to do things,
absolutely,
and have a meaningful effect. And I love what I was going to say is, I loved your use of clash points at the beginning to get shit out and get things ready. Like, it's cool narratively, and it's cool as a what you would be doing as a player. But I like that there was mechanical decisions you're making to do that, right?
Yeah.
Right. Like, I'm gonna spend 2 points to get this out, and I can only do. I don't want to risk spending more, so I'm only going to get 2 right now. But then I'll, carry on with my attack, and then, like, you can imagine how. A timed event or something like that could very easily be designed in this game, where it takes, say, 6 actions or 7 actions or whatever else to pull this lever off of a door, as everyone's, or pull like a big pylon or whatever it is, the brace that keeps a door shut while you're fighting off adversaries. So people are trying to fight and whatnot while someone's sparing some of their clash points to try and get themselves free.
Absolutely, like sort of the way that Kamal got his torch out, got his flint out, got his torch out, lit it. Like it felt really part of the action. And in a way that I was choosing to do it, like still keeping a point or 2 each turn just in case I needed it to try and dodge if he threw something at me, or I don't know what this adversary can do.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and it felt like a boss fight, right? Like.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's great. Awesome. So
especially when we found out that it regenerated as much damage as Kamal did every turn, right? Because Kamal was doing 3d6 damage with the clash point spend versus 3d6 regeneration. That was interesting discovery.
It's one of those games, one of those encounters where it just like. I made up the encounter sort of on the fly, especially the sun going down thing. But what a fucking exciting thing!
It played out really well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So cool. Well, Arlen, I am doubly grateful for you making the character sheets for this now, because I sure shit will want to run this again. What about you guys? Would you want to play this again?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That is awesome. Cool.
Well, I made a series of notes as we were playing about the character sheets. Probably not until like next week or something, because busy weekend. But eventually, once Roll20 gets back to me and says what I need to do to actually publicize it, it'd be nice to have some of the advancements from playing, like having a space for languages.
I know the author JM. He responded on Twitter as well too. So he's going to be. If you get the information to him, I'm sure he can help get that done.
Yeah. I know. Seems like it would be cool to put it out there, and
absolutely. Well, even just like it's, and for our own personal use, I suppose like if anyone else wants to make use of what's in here too, are you okay with people asking on the
just ask on the Dungeon Musings Discord, and I'll send it to you or whatever.
Awesome, cool. All right, any closing thoughts, guys, on Jackals?
Great game. I like it.
Yeah, really fun. Really, it's a lot of different kind of pieces from different places, it feels like, but they all come together really well.
Yep. Excellent. All right, then we'll move back to our first screen here. Then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for this special one-shot playing Jackals. If the game looks cool to you, You can find this on Drive-Thru RPG for the PDF versions. You can also get a PDF or print version through Osprey Publishing, and I got a link in the description of the video through to Osprey to get your copies. You can also get print copies through, they've got a distribution deal through Amazon as well too, so you could also find it on there. But yeah, and at the time of recording, there's only the core rulebook out, but in May is when their first adventure is coming out, a mega adventure, so there's going to be lots of content, and then from what JM has said, there's going to be more material coming out afterwards too. So I'd love to see more information, like more rights for the different, what do you call it, ritualists is going to be cool. I mean, there's so much cool stuff that could be added into the game as well too, but the core rulebook does a great job of giving you enough to get yourself up and running, so very cool. But if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the game, or our fledgling campaign with us, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section of the video, and I will endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, you can find me on Twitter at Dungeon Musings, and you can find me by email. My email address is dungeonmusings@gmail.com. You can also find a link in the description of the video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server. If you are interested in getting the Roll20 sheet for this, you can find us over on there. All of us are active on the Discord server, and probably under Assorted Games is where this one would be. And in addition, there's also in the description of the video, we mentioned it at the mid-session break, but there is a link to something called Heroes Save Villages. That's the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits SOS Children's Villages International, a really amazing organization active in over 130 countries that benefits over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children from around the world. From now until April 1st, only a couple of more weeks. For every $25 that you donate, you get one chance to win the grand prize or one of the other prizes in our first charity raffle for the year. The grand prize is a copy of Beadle and Grimm's amazing Platinum Edition Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden. It's this incredible, I've been saying it's a crate set, it's a box set with a ton of great stuff in there. The full Rime of the Frost Maiden adventure, as well as a bunch of extra encounters, a bunch of amazing in-world handouts. There's a map tube that comes with it with a ton of maps in it. There is a bunch of miniatures that come with it. It's just a really incredible product, and we were very fortunate to have Beadle and Grimm donate a copy of it for us to raffle off as our grand prize. If you don't win that, there's still a copy of Beadle and Grimm's Silver Edition Icewind Dale Rime of the Frost Maiden that you can win. You can also win chainmail dice bag, a dice tray made of wood. You could win a copy of Son of Oak Studios' City of Mist starter set. You can also win a bunch of cool stuff from the Dungeon Musings Red Bubble Shop, t-shirts, posters, and you can win some zines from our buddy Jason Hobbs, some cool OSR zines. So lots of great materials, lots of great things. You also get a chance to vote in the next charity session, or for what charity session we're going to be running. There's 4 cool dark fantasy games that are in the running there. Symbaroum, Warhammer Fantasy, Roleplay 4th edition, The Witcher, and Shadow the Demon Lord. So if you want to vote for that, if you made a donation and you haven't voted thus far, head on over to the Dungeon Musings Discord server, find the Charity Initiatives channel, and cast your vote for what we want to play. And then the week before, you'll have a chance to spend some of the money that you've donated thus far to help outfit our heroes. It's been a lot of fun seeing what people have been spending their donation money on thus far for the charity session. So yeah, and with a dark fantasy game, I think our heroes will definitely need it. And speaking of heroes, I want to give a huge thank you to both Jeff and Arlen for not only jumping in on a new game at short notice. I also want to thank you both for making such interesting characters. And again, Arlen, I really can't thank you enough. Thank you so much for putting together that Roll20 sheet. That definitely sped up the process and made it very, very easy to run the game today. So thank you very, very much for that.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. I mean, it was kind of tedious, but my day job is pretty tedious, so it wasn't that different. No, it was great, and it was super fun to get to play, and I'm really glad we got to try this out, because Kevin's been talking this game up, and it definitely is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. Not to hit a dead horse here, but it's got all the makings of what would be a fun game to see the characters develop over the course of the campaign, right? Like seeing all these different moving parts in here and seeing the organic growth of skills and such. You could see how there would be you would get a chance to see those characters moving and developing. And I think, like, with those passive rolls at the end of each session, too, it gives you an immediate sense of gratification and a feeling of achievement that, you know, I mean, obviously spending the active advancements will be a little different, but I love that. I love that element. I've always loved that about BRP, so it's really cool to see it carry over here. Anyway, I will stop showering praise. Once again, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us. As is always the case, if you are joining us during the current crisis, we do hope that this finds you healthy, safe, and weathering the current crisis as well as can be expected. We hope that we've given you a few hours to take your mind off of the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our Bronze Age heroes have gotten themselves into. I told you guys you shouldn't have got into that cave. Come on. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.